I'm Steve Lennox. U.S. men's soccer team finishing in a draw for the second time in Group B play at the World Cup. U.S. and England playing to a scoreless draw. U.S. now plays Iran on Tuesday. Bills linebacker Von Miller is out indefinitely with a right knee injury, but tests today revealing that he did not suffer a torn ACL. Day after Thanksgiving and a busy Friday of college football in Austin. Number 23 Texas Longhorns coming back in the fourth quarter and able to beat Baylor 38-27 with its win today. Texas still alive for a spot in the Big 12 championship game. Number 19 Tulane on the road today, down in the fourth quarter against number 24 Cincinnati.
Pratt looking to throw. Now fires to the end zone right side. It's caught! Touchdown, Deuce Watts! And just like that, the green wave back in front.
Call from Learfield. Tulane won over Cincinnati 27-24. There is a chance that Tulane and Cincinnati could still play in the American Athletic Conference Championship next week.
Coming up on Monday, the NFC East continues to be the powerhouse division in the NFL. But is it the best division in football? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Monday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musa. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. Hope you ate a lot, drank a lot, watched a lot of football, and generally enjoyed family, friends, and all the things that we do have to be thankful for in this world. So, a lot to get to today. Let a friend know that we are, in fact, working today on Black Friday if they're out and about, because there's so much going on. LSU-Texas A&M tomorrow. Of course, Saints-Niners on Sunday out in the Bay Area. And a really good slate of games as we speak. Arkansas and Missouri are playing. KJ Jefferson into the end zone. So they've got a 6-3 lead with about 5 minutes to play in the first, PAT pending. So congrats. Tulane wins the American. So what a season for the Wave to get that done today. And then you got Florida State tonight. So a ton of football. We were just bathing in football right now, which is pretty awesome. And I do want to talk a lot about LSU-Texas A&M today, and we'll get into it. David Nuno from TexAgs will be with us an hour from right now. Keep in mind, there was no media availability for Brian Kelly this week after Monday. So he had his Monday press luncheon. There was no SEC coaches teleconference Wednesday. Obviously, Thursday was Thanksgiving, so he didn't meet with the media, didn't have his radio show. So the info coming out of both programs leading up to the game this week has been slim, but we will sort of dive into what we know as we get you ready for LSU and Texas A&M. So a lot to get to. One thing, though, that's always interesting about LSU, Texas A&M is, or just Texas A&M in general, is yell practice. And look, we've made a lot of fun of yell practice this year because of the weird jokes and all that stuff. Like, I mean, if you've never seen yell practice, give a little bit of this here, Muse, if you would, to people. They sway, they play the Aggie war hymn. They do yells and chants and cheers, and I guess this is how they get ready to go. That's an old one there. We don't, but anyway. So I decided, and Muse, I think you probably agree this is a pretty good idea. Who is the person that we jointly, collectively know hates Texas A&M more than anyone?
Well, that'd be Hunt Palmer.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question. Hunt is anti-Aggie in any way you can be anti-Aggie. But you know what? I really wanted to figure out, like, what in the world goes on with these yell practices. So, like play this. They're all like, look, they're leaning over and there's a... Look, I mean, a full stadium at midnight, and they're doing their little chants and their arm rolls and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a pep rally, basically. So, I said I wanted to send Hunt on a reconnaissance mission. I wanted to send Hunt to College Station to go to yell practice and then report here back to us with what he saw and learned about this whole thing. So, listen. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome into the studio the host of Hunt. It's not Hunt Hill anymore. The host of Hunt. The greatest LSU fan that I know, my dear friend Hunt Palmer, if you're listening on radio, Hunt's walking back into studio after just finishing his show. Hunt, belated happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Matt.
Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
I do appreciate that very much. When I first asked you about the assignment, yeah, I love it. The touchdown for LSU, bumping you in here. I thought it was really heady, Muse.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, well, not really. I do have to talk about something. I went over to College Station, headed over to yell practice, and I've kind of made a decision. I mean, you don't arrive at these things lightly. You have to...
Well, you're taking off the LSU.
Yeah, I've kind of ditched all that.
You've ditched the purple and the gold?
Yeah, I'm now fully indoctrinated into Aggie tradition. In fact, I'm actually a yell leader. So, Matt! Woo! Woo! Matt, let me tell you about my friend, Old Rock. Old Rock, he's got a friend from Louisiana named Boudreaux. And one day... the Houston Zoo lost track of its tiger. It got out of the zoo. So Old Rock, being the savvy ag that he is, he caught that tiger. He put it in his car.
Did he?
And he said, Boudreaux, come over here. You got to take this tiger to the zoo.
Okay.
4 hours later, Boudreaux showed back up, and the tiger was still in the car. Old Rock said, Boudreaux. He said, Boudreaux. Why the tiger still in the car? I told you to take him to the zoo. Boudreaux said, well, I did take him to the zoo. We had so much fun. We're going to the aquarium tomorrow. Woo! Because Boudreaux's an idiot, and Old Rock is smart. And tomorrow, the Aggies are going to beat the ever-living, ever-loving, hell out of LS Poo-Poo. Woo!
Wait, isn't it the class of 2023 hell out of LSU?
And that's what we're going to do, Matt, because that's what we did to Auburn and Ole Miss and Alabama and South Carolina. Oh, no, we didn't.
Hunt.
We lost all those games.
Excuse me, Hunt, the good egg. And you lost all those games. You lost 6 in a row. I mean, you left a team. You left a team that's playing for the SEC championship in a week to join a team that's as 4-7.
What? We
Hey,
you know what we do on Fridays? We don't go to the bar like normal. We get in the stadium and scream like this, woo! And then we get our butts kicked the next day, and it's fun. Old Rock.
Did you happen to make it down to the Dixie Chicken?
Yeah. And I've had my Aggie ring on, and I wouldn't take it off if you amputated my arm.
Well, I thought you were supposed to put the ring in a You're supposed to put the ring in a bit. You're swaying.
Saw the varsity's horns off. Whoop, whoop.
Oh man, you're supposed to. You're supposed to put the ring. I need it again. You're waiting, yeah, because you should have had it ready. Okay, you're supposed to put the ring in a pitcher of beer,
Matt,
and drink the pitcher of beer. Is that what you? That's what
Matt.
You
from the inside, you can't explain it. From the outside, you can't understand it. Whoop!
Okay, but did you go to the Dixie Chicken and drink your beer?
Yes.
Okay.
It was great. College Station's awesome.
What else did you like about College Station?
All the championships.
The championships that Pat Henry's won in track and field?
No, 1920-something we won.
I think it was like 34.
34. John David Crow was good, too.
That was it, yeah.
Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football.
Did you happen to meet...
Do you remember when Johnny Football won the West and went to Atlanta?
What? Didn't happen.
Dang it. They played Duke in Atlanta, not the SEC championship game. Sorry.
That's right. That is what happened. You gotta be watching this right now if you're not watching
it. Gig 'em.
That's just way better than I ever thought it would have been. Oh, man. Hey, old Hunt the Good Ag, we got a score prediction for tomorrow?
Aggies by 50.
Aggies by 50. That is, that went so much better than I ever could have dreamed. Oh, man. That went so much better than I ever could imagine. The only thing would have been better is if he had overalls.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Hunt Palmer the Aggie.
What a heel turn.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, my side hurts so bad. When he kept going, You snorted.
That was good.
I'm sweating. Sweating right now. Normally I'm sweating because I'm yelling a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm sweating because I got a jacket on. Okay. All right. What time is it? It doesn't matter. We're gonna go to break. LSU did lose a commit today, a big defensive line commit for the class of 2023 to a school without a head coach, because that's totally normal. We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Did it this morning. Told you the Moscona family tradition. We wake up on Black Friday. I actually had to take Drew to the doctor this morning. So after I took Drew to the doctor, then we went to Clegg's Nursery, and we did, in fact, pick out our Moscona family Christmas tree. Got about 14 boxes of Christmas decorations out of the attic. And I came to work, and Erica is decorating our house and decorating the tree. So we went to Clegg's, got our tree. There's a great selection. We went to Clegg's on Segan. Any of the 4 locations, tons of trees, all different sizes to choose from. They are beautiful and full and a great selection. They've got poinsettias as well, all the Christmas decor, pre-lit trees, indoor, outdoor decor, flowers, plants as well. They got like these poinsettia trees as well, which are crazy, in these big giant pots. Check them out. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Go get your Christmas tree, y'all. It is finally Christmas season. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community. We are
the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it, They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're going to try to get this thing back on the rails. Hunt just threw us a gigantic curveball. I mean, can you believe? Of all the people, can you believe? It was Hunt Palmer.
Was that? I never thought I'd see the day.
Hunt turned on us. Hunt is now yell leader Hunt Palmer. Whoop! Oh, man. If you missed the intro or the Open to Today show, if you're listening to it, you've got to go back on YouTube and watch the shenanigans that Hunt just pulled off. All right. We are going to have our Fantasy Blitz in about 30 minutes. So because we had no show yesterday, we're combining some things from Thursday show and Friday show. So we'll have our Fantasy Blitz later this hour. We'll talk to David Nuno, Tex Ags, about 45 minutes from right now to preview the Aggies. And Mike Triplett will be here in hour number 3. No Terrio today, so we do have a lot that we're going to delve into, though. The LSU fans kind of got an unpleasant Black Friday gift this morning. A 4-star member of LSU's 2023 class, defensive lineman Darin Reed, flipped his commitment from LSU to Auburn this morning. So 2023 defensive lineman out of Columbus, Georgia, had been committed to LSU since July 4th. If you remember, back this summer, there was this a lot. If you remember, there was this sort of angst, right? That could Brian Kelly recruit the state? Arch Manning committed to Texas. You lost Derek Williams. You lost some big-time prospects out of the state. And so around the 4th of July, Brian Kelly went on this heater, and Darin Reed was part of that. So a guy from Columbus, Georgia, he's a 4-star, and LSU still has a pretty good hold on the defensive line for the class of 2023. Deshaun Womack, Jackson Howard, Joshua Mickens, all still committed. But there's two things that stand out here. One is specifically with Reed. The other is looking at the LSU defensive line, next year and beyond. But in his flip, Darin Reed told Chad Simmons from On 3, quote, "I just feel part of the family." Talking about Auburn. Why he decided to flip. I'm never one that's ever going to worry too much about one player. And there are transcendent type players that you feel like you have to get. Leonard Fournette was like that, right? He was a transcendent player from New Orleans. You recruited for 5 years and it felt like you had to get him. And sometimes you get him and sometimes you don't. Dylan Moses felt like that as well. And you didn't get him and he went to Alabama. But when you're going to sign 25 or more, however many it is, you're always going to have guys that you don't land. And you're still going to find a way to sign a class full of really good players, and your program will go on. And as much angst as there is about a player flipping here or there, it tends to, in time, work itself out. I remember all the Hootie Jones conversation years ago. Well, LSU ended up getting Jamal Adams instead. that kind of worked out. So either way, I'm not going to make too much of a deal out of one player. The odd thing is Darin Reed flipping from LSU to Auburn. He's flipping from LSU to Auburn when Auburn doesn't even have a head coach. So you're literally flipping from the school that won the West in year one of this head coach and is looking like it is very much on an upward trajectory to a school that at present does not even have a head coach. That's peculiar. That's whenever you look and you say, oh, well, NIL. And you're probably not wrong. So whatever. I'm very pro NIL. I'm all for these guys getting whatever they can and gals and whatever someone's willing to pay them. That's just a bit peculiar when you have a guy flip from an ascending program to a program that doesn't even have a head coach. So wish him well. And the other part of it, though, is when you look at LSU's defensive line for 2023 and beyond, they still look really good. You're going to lose B.J. Ojulari and Ali Gay. Big questions about Jaquelin Roy and Jacobian Guillory if they return. But Savion Jones has been such a pleasant surprise this year. Harold Perkins will play that jack spot next year where Ojulari is presently. You'll have Wingo and Mason Smith back in the middle, and then behind them, potentially Roy and Guillory as part of that rotation. And then the guys that were freshmen this year, Bryce Langston, Tietgen, Hill, Fitzgerald West. That doesn't even count a guy like Quincy Wiggins, who redshirted this year. And then on top of that, all of the 2023 signees, which will include Deshaun Womack, Jackson Howard, Joshua Mickens, and anybody else they may add in this class. So stings to lose a good player and to lose a good player in your division. Again, if someone's ever going to flip their commitment, or it's a player that LSU is pursuing and they decide to go elsewhere, you'd always rather them go somewhere out of conference, somewhere where you're never going to see them. Like Arch Manning going to Texas. I understand Texas is coming into the SEC, so potentially you get Arch Manning his junior year. But, by and large, you'd much rather, the example I always give is the late Joe McKnight. I mean, LSU wanted so badly to recruited Joe McKnight so badly, so hard, and he picked Southern Cal. And that sucked because he was an amazing football player, the best running back in the country, but he went to SC and you never saw him, so it didn't matter. Losing a guy not only in the conference but in the division, it stings. But anyway, so Deshaun Womack flips to Auburn. Now, the other question about this is, with Auburn, is Lane Kiffin the guy? Of course, the Egg Bowl happened last night. Mississippi State went to Oxford and beat Ole Miss, as we all saw. And Lane Kiffin, after the game, was asked about his future and if he plans on being the coach at Auburn next year, if he is going to be at Mississippi State. There's a big, long interaction, but this is the key piece of it when Lane was asked if he planned on being at Ole Miss.
Initial question: if Auburn offers you its coaching position, do you anticipate being Ole Miss's coach next season?
I do.
So there you have Lane Kiffin saying flatly, I do plan on being Ole Miss's coach next season. So despite all the reports, Lane said he plans on being back. Now we'll see if Auburn goes and backs up the Brinks truck to Kiffin's house and tries to maybe make him one of the highest paid coaches in America or whatever it may be. And we'll see that decision. But if you remember, it was the reporter out of Mississippi, John Sokoloff, who reported this week that Lane was going to step down on Friday, be today, and take the Auburn job. Well, it's 3:23 in the afternoon on Friday, and we still haven't seen that news yet. And I don't know that it's coming, and it may at some point. Maybe his timeline is off, or maybe Lane is staying at Ole Miss. I don't know. I care to the extent that it greatly impacts LSU, because who the coach is at Auburn and who the coach is at Ole Miss impacts LSU because you play them every year. But what happens at Ole Miss or Auburn, by and large, the inner workings there, I'm not super concerned with. I've said that I do believe I would rather see Lane Kiffin at Auburn than Ole Miss, because he makes Ole Miss a threat. And I need Ole Miss to be a runt. I need Ole Miss to be Matt Luke Ole Miss. Auburn's always going to have good players, and they're always going to put up a fight. So I'd rather Lane go to Auburn than stay at Ole Miss and have Ole Miss regress. But however it happens, whatever may happen this week, I don't know, and we'll see. It certainly seems like Hugh Freeze might be the next guy if it's not Lane. My point earlier in the week is that I tend to believe Lane is staying at Ole Miss because while I do believe Auburn is a better job than Ole Miss, if Lane continues to have success at Ole Miss, a better job than Auburn could eventually come open, and he could take that. It's completely plausible. A lot of you said, hey, Lane's waiting to take over for Nick at Bama. Maybe so. And I think he has the personality and the temperament to do it, to replace Nick there. I don't know that he'd be their number one choice. I have no idea what Bama would be looking for in that sense or when Nick Saban is going to retire. But in theory, Lane could stay at Ole Miss, make $8-9 million a year, win 8-9 games. People there will be really excited about that. And then if the time comes to take the Bama job, or if Sarkisian gets blown out at Texas and you could take that job, or A&M if they run Jimbo. I mean, there's a lot of better jobs than Auburn that could come available that Kiffin would potentially be a fit for. So I don't know what he's going to do. The thing that I said earlier in the week was I thought this was a smokescreen, that Lane wasn't really the guy, that they're using him as a front to court whoever the real candidate is. Or maybe they're really taking a swing at Lane and he may rebuff Auburn. I don't know. I've just covered a lot of these to know that when you think it's over, it's never really over until the coach is at the podium being introduced. And maybe Lane having to address the Auburn reports earlier in this week might have soured him on this whole thing because he had to go talk to his team and say, I'm not going anywhere. And when you do that, it's hard to do an about face after that. So never easy. It is the silly season in coaching right now. But Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss finish a schedule that, we talked about at Media Day. I mean, we talked about it way back when. So that was a team that could start. I think everyone sort of just knew that was a team that could start 7-0, but they had a backloaded schedule. And I think we said they could start 7-0 and finish 8-4, and it wouldn't be a surprise. And here they are, finishing the season at 8-4. And I'm quite honestly not surprised. So we'll see what's next at Auburn and with Lane Kiffin and what may come of all that. Okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Mold Zero USA. Mold-0USA.com. Tons of rain yesterday, y'all. Sometimes rain, humidity, moisture is what can cause mold to grow. So if you have an issue with mold, Mold Zero USA, it's mold-zero, Z-E-R-O, spell it out, mold-0USA.com. Kill mold, remove odors, home, office, or place of business, whatever it may be. Recently, Mold Zero restored the church at St. Teresa in Gonzales. They had a mold problem, so they came in, sprayed, cleaned everything, and now beautiful, mold-free, fresh-smelling church. Mold Zero USA, mold-0USA.com. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you're not talking about coming in and you're doing any type of cutting of sheetrock or any type of demo work. It's just spray it, wait for the fog to dissipate, and you can go back in perfectly safe. Mold Zero USA, mold-0USA.com. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Keeping an eye on the Arkansas and Missouri game. Missouri just scored again to go up 17-7 on Arkansas. They're 4 seconds into the second quarter. It's so interesting to watch this game because since Missouri has been in the league, this game means so much more to Missouri. And you know where I'm going. If you listen to the show, you know where I'm going with this. And this is what I've explained to Arkansas fans forever, is Arkansas hates this game against Missouri. They resent it. They resent the fact that they played on Friday after Thanksgiving. They have a name for it, a trophy, the battle line, and all that stuff. Arkansas resents it. But Missouri loves it. For Missouri, this is their rivalry in the SEC. And it's a shoe on the other foot experience for Arkansas, because Arkansas is in the spot now that LSU was in forever, for 20 years, playing that game on the Friday after Thanksgiving, that LSU fans always resented, that Arkansas loved. And now Arkansas is experiencing it from the other side. Only LSU had 50 years experience in the conference before Arkansas ever came in, as opposed to Arkansas being in the league for 20 years before they got saddled with Missouri. But anyway, this is never easy for Arkansas. They're not a great team to begin with. They're 6-5 on the season. Missouri's 5-6, fighting for bowl eligibility. They get this game at home against who they perceive to be their rival in a trophy game, and Missouri's given them hell so far. So Missouri's up on Arkansas 17-7 with just under 14 minutes to go in the first half. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break, go around the SEC, when we come back. I do have to talk about LSU basketball getting completely hosed in the Cayman Islands. We'll get to that in a little bit. Fantasy Blitz with Darin Tietgen in about 15 minutes from right now. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done if you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault. Of course, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys would like to help, as they have been helping Louisianians for decades get what they rightfully deserve after they've been injured. But Gordon is so much more. He sees his role in the community as so much more as well, as he always gives back through the Gordon Gives arm of the law firm. And every year around the holidays, Gordon gives away 500 bicycles to children in our communities all throughout the state. It's the Gordon Gives Bike Giveaway 2022. Go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. That's the website. If you want to enter for a chance to win one of these bikes for a child in your life around Christmas time, you can do it. Go to getgordon.com, and you'll see right there how you can enter to win in the Gordon Gives Bike Giveaway 2022. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It's a tough way to lose. I can't fault our players for their great effort on the floor. I just wish I could have done a better job of getting them in positions to be more effective offensively in the second half. We turned it over 14 times. And as well as we guarded in the half court defensively, unfortunately, some of those turnovers led to some pick six, breakaway layups. And then, we shoot 50% at the free throw line. And, man, just disappointing. Couldn't score enough points there in the second half to win.
It's Matt McMahon after LSU lost to Kansas State in the championship game of the Cayman Classic earlier this week. Now, Matt McMahon is right. LSU did a lot wrong in the game. Shooting 50% from the free throw line, that's a problem. Your field goal stat wasn't good enough. So LSU did a lot wrong in the game. Okay, it doesn't. If you take care of all the things that were within your control over the other 39 minutes and 56 seconds, then it doesn't come down to what it ultimately did. But what happened is LSU got hosed at the end of the game. If you didn't see it, Keontae Johnson, with shot clock expiring, hits a fadeaway that rattles around and goes in to put Kansas State up 61-59. So there's 4.7 seconds left in the ball game. 4.7. LSU down 2, inbounds under its own basket. This is how it looked and sounded.
Reed will bring it up, the freshman, to Hannibal. On the lay-in, and we're tied. Did he get it off in time?
So he did get it off in time, according to the clock above the scoreboard. What he did not do was get it off in time according to the actual time that he had to shoot. Let me explain if you did not see this. So LSU is inbounding under their basket, and Paul, you can run this if you want. And there's 4.7 seconds. Now, at the time they inbound, if you watch the clock, they don't start the clock until the ball approaches half court. So they started the game clock operator started the clock too late. So in actuality, Trey Hannibal's looking at the clock above the scoreboard, which started late. And you would probably say, like I would, well, tough. They didn't run the clock. But apparently the actual rule is that if the clock operator starts the clock late, then anything that happens, action that happens after the clock would have expired, is canceled. So by rule, nullifying the basket is the right call. But I don't know what you expect a player to do in that situation. There's no humanly way possible that Trey Hannibal or anyone on the LSU team could have been aware at that moment that the clock hadn't started. So it's a massively unfortunate thing to lose the way they did based on the incompetence of the officials. We've talked about this team, y'all, and listen, they've got certainly some shortcomings, and they got a long way to go before they're a good basketball team. I like what they've done with the schedule, as we've talked about. They've stockpiled it early with a lot of winnable games. They went to the Caymans and won twice, and they had a chance there to go to overtime against Kansas State and get a nice win, but you fell short because of the way that all transpired. As we said, there's a lot LSU didn't do well. I mean, they were, Tigers were 43% from the floor, but you were 7 of 14 at the free throw line. I mean, you were 50% from the foul line in that ball game. I mean, you led by 12 at one point. You let that lead dissipate. You committed 22 fouls in the game. So there's a lot that LSU still has to improve on. It sucks, though, that it ended the way it did. Here was Matt McMahon on the clock malfunction at the end of the game.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I'll have to look at the film and see. Never been a part of a game ending that way. Just, looked like the guys had executed it well and made the play. So I have to see when the clock did start. But, man, it seems like I don't know. I guess that's the way the rule's written. They get out a stopwatch and somehow determine the speed of the film and decide to call the game because of that. So, just disappointing, man.
Trying to be classy, but you can understand his frustration, and rightfully so. All right, so LSU plays Wofford, by the way. It's the next time out. They'll play Wofford on, that would be on Sunday. They play Wofford on Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Maravich Center. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They are open today on Black Friday. So if you got the day off of work, you're sitting around, you've been thinking about a new vehicle, been thinking about a test drive, Go take that test drive today at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or you can always shop the inventory at southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
All right, let's run through the game capsules. You know that Ole Miss and Mississippi State played in the Egg Bowl last night. State outlasted Ole Miss by 2. Ole Miss had a 99-yard touchdown drive, 2-point conversion opportunity to tie the ball game. It fell short. So Ole Miss finishes its regular season at 8-4. State also at 8-4. Presently underway, Arkansas has scored. So Missouri leads Arkansas 17-14 in a first half that's seen an awful lot of offense. 8:42 to play in the first half. Tonight, Florida is at Florida State. Florida State's a 10-point favorite in that game, which is a little stunning to see. Feels like a dramatic overreaction to the Vanderbilt loss last week. Florida State's playing much better than they were earlier this year. They have improved throughout the season, but still, that's a little surprising to see that as one-sided as it is. Georgia hosts Georgia Tech in Athens tomorrow. South Carolina is at Clemson. Can South Carolina prove last week wasn't a fluke, or does Clemson, which is still fighting for its playoff life, take care of the Gamecocks? Kentucky hosts Louisville. Of course, you got the Iron Bowl, LSU, Texas A&M, and Tennessee Vanderbilt tomorrow night as well at 6:30 on the SEC Network. So there's your slate in the Southeastern Conference this weekend. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get from Gulf Coast Office Products, an official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. We're going to knock out our final break here of hour number 1. Again, as I've mentioned, we're going to sort of mesh our Thursday and Friday shows with a lot of different crossover. So normally on Thursdays is when we do our Fantasy Blitz. We'll do that next. So before you set your fantasy football roster, if you have fantasy football questions, check with our guy Darin Tietgen at who2start.com. It's a numeral 2, who2start.com. Darin will get you personalized fantasy football advice. So if you got questions, fire away. You can get them in now, who2start.com. All right, we'll knock out a break. Come back, Fantasy Blitz, stay here.
AFR.
I want to remind you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. Look, they have the day off today for Black Friday, but they'll be back in the office Monday. So it's a really good opportunity to log on to the website at lainsurance.net. That's lainsurance.net. And get started on the process of saving money on your insurance and getting properly insured. So here's what I would recommend you do. You're sitting around today. It's Friday afternoon, maybe eating some turkey and watching some ball. Just pull out your smartphone, go to lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net, hit the quotes tab at the top of the page, and just fill out a little information about your current coverage. And as soon as they have that, they get to work. They go shop. They shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. It is totally free to have them shop for you. And if they can find you better coverage for less money, then switch. If not, stay with what you got. But maybe with the holidays here, the way that you can get your finances in order and save a little bit of cash every month is with Insurance Network of Louisiana. lainsurance.net.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime, Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.com.
Who the hell are you?
whotostart.com.
Peekaboo!
The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the pittance?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.com on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 104.5ESPN.com.
All right, let's get it. Darin Tietgen joins us, whotostart.com. It's the numeral 2. Get your personalized fantasy football advice before you set your rosters. Check with our guy Darin at whotostart.com. You can always email your questions, tweet us at Matt Moscona, jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can always text in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Darin, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was your Thanksgiving?
Fantastic, man. Belated happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. Hope the celebration went great. A lot of food, a lot of football. So, because there were already 3 games yesterday, how does that impact people setting their fantasy rosters this week?
Well, I mean, hopefully you started the right guys last night. You know, some CD Lamb, some Justin Jefferson. Man, what a talent that guy is.
Yeah.
And then even a guy like Ezekiel, it looks like he's got his feet under him now. So he looks like he's probably a pretty good start, even with Tony Pollard looking really good as well. So, hopefully you got your right players in and just plug in the holes for this weekend.
We always look at who's on bye and what sleepers might be there. So what are we looking for as far as sleepers this week?
If you're looking for a quarterback, trying to plug somebody in there, we like Jimmy Garoppolo against your Saints. Unfortunately, he's probably going to have a pretty big game. He's been really consistent. He looks like he throws about 2 touchdowns a game pretty much consistently. So he's a safe bet there at the quarterback. Running back wise, Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs really looks like a strong candidate, to really finish the season well for the Chiefs. The Rams are depleted. Looks like the Chiefs are probably going to run on them quite a bit on Sunday. And then at wide receiver, pick a Vinny Hollins, either Mac or Nico. Mac Hollins for the Raiders against Seattle, great matchup. Nico Collins from against Miami, also a good matchup. So if you need a quarterback or a wide receiver, look for one of the Hollins guys.
Are you seeing anything right now, Darin, with injuries this time of year, or any player in particular where there might be a run on roster moves?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like some people are getting healthy. Juju Smith-Schuster looks like he's getting healthy. But unfortunately, a guy like Justin Fields, game time decision, he looks like he was going to really finish the season strong as a breakout candidate for fantasy purposes at the quarterback position. But looks like that separated shoulder might hold him out on Sunday, which would be a boon to the fantasy prospects of guys like Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet at tight end for the Bears.
All right, he's Darin Tietgen, who2start.com. You can get your questions in. Email us, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can always jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or you could text your question in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Darin, wondering what you project for Taysom Hill this week. Obviously, the Saints have had a little up and down at the quarterback spot with how they're rotating guys right now.
Yeah, I mean, tight end is always just a real top-heavy position. And you've got Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce that, put up consistent points. But then from there, it's kind of a steep cliff that kind of drops off. And guys like T.J. Hawkinson, George Kittle can put up good numbers, but they can also disappear too. So a guy like Taysom Hill, it's a dice roll. He could obviously he's going to be running the ball. He has the potential to throw the ball. And then, of course, he catches the ball sometimes as well. But, he's a kind of wild card. We have him just outside of our top 10 in terms of tight ends this week. But look for them to use him quite a bit in the run game to control the game against the Niners, try to keep Jimmy G and that explosive Niner offense off the field. So, yeah, Taysom Hill, I mean, if you don't have anything better at tight end, he's definitely worth the dice roll.
What are you projecting with the Jets this week with the quarterback change?
Well, I mean, Mike White's kind of gunslinger, he obviously can't do any worse than Zach Wilson was doing out there. You feel bad for the kid. He went up against a very, very, very good defense in the Patriots and kind of just got hammered around a little bit. But, like I said, Mike White's a gunslinger. He's going to be throwing the ball a lot. So that ups the prospects of a guy like Garrett Wilson, the rookie wide receiver for the Jets, might have a good game with Mike White at quarterback.
All right, he is Darin Tietgen, who2start.com. You get to the website, who2start.com. It's the numeral 2. You can always use the code ESPN. They'll give you 10% off. Darin, is that good for the remainder of the regular season through the playoffs?
Absolutely, yeah. Just log on and use that for that promo code, and we'll hook you up.
Darin Tietgen, who2start.com. Again, the numeral 2, who2start.com. We appreciate you, man. Thanks, and belated happy Thanksgiving again. We always appreciate the time.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, man. Be well. It's after further review. Appreciate Darin for being flexible with us. We're going to go to College Station coming up in the next hour. We'll talk to David Nuno of TexAgs.com to preview LSU and Texas A&M. There's this big idea of motivation for the game. You've got a 4-7 Texas A&M team that came into this season with high expectations, and they lost 6 straight. They finally snapped that losing streak with their win over UMass last week, and now here comes LSU, which feels like it could be the I don't want to call it a season saver because it's mostly a lost season for A&M, but is this something where they are limping to the finish, or will they be sky high to play LSU tomorrow? Will it be a full stadium? What's it going to be like at Kyle Field? That's going to be very interesting. So we're going to get to David Nuno here in just a minute. Let me remind you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. That's us, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Phones were blowing up this morning, not surprisingly. We got over 4 inches of rain at the airport yesterday on Thanksgiving Day. It's the wettest Thanksgiving Day on record in Baton Rouge. So no surprise that, I tell you all the time, when it rains, our phones ring at Hudco because people call when they get water in their house. And there's always two ways to find out if you got a roof damage. Let us come do a free, no obligation inspection, 1, or 2, wait for it to rain like it did yesterday, and you get water in your house and you realize You got a roof leak. And I always say it, one of those options is better than the other. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You can call. We are working today, 364-1007. That's 225-364-1007, 364-1007, or HudcoRoofing.com. Right there on the homepage, you'll see where it says schedule your free inspection. Just fill out the form. It'll take you 30 seconds, and we'll get you in the queue and get you looked at. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Jimbo did talk about earlier this week what it would mean to beat LSU if they were able to get it on Saturday.
It's huge. Again, the future of what you have here, which we believe is extremely bright, where we're going and what we're doing, and these guys playing together and being together. And I think for the seniors, a great send-off in the last time they walk in that stadium, and learning that another lesson of persevering, of not letting circumstances dictate who you are and what you are, but how you deal with them and what you persevere through. And I think it'd be great for those seniors and be a great message for those young players going into the offseason.
We will find out. All right, so we're going to knock out a break. We'll get you caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. We'll talk to David Nuno from TexAgs.com. Also, next hour, I saw we're going to get a Saints injury report update. I saw an NFL mock draft. You're going to be fascinated to see who the Saints land in round 2. We'll talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows. Beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all over at Relief Windows. And specifically when I tell you about that siding, remember, in roughly 2 weeks, so if you start the process today, the exterior of your home can look like a brand new home within 2 weeks' time. So if you're having family over for the holidays, call Relief Windows today, 288-8138. Get that process started. By the time the holidays are here, the exterior of your home will look brand new with hardy plank or vinyl siding. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. So vinyl siding, hardy plank siding, it won't crack or chip or peel, comes finished in whatever color you want. It's fire resistant, weather resistant. It's going to make your home more energy efficient. Learn more at ReliefWindows.com or call 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Experience, quality, and service. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox, ACC College Football on ESPN TV this hour. Late second quarter, North Carolina State on the road and up 14-10 against number 17 North Carolina. A road win today for number 19 Tulane over number 24 Cincinnati. A home victory in Austin for number 23 Texas over Baylor. Michigan, Ohio State kickoff noon Eastern on Saturday from Columbus. Former Ohio State quarterback Cardale Jones on whether or not the Buckeyes can get into the college football playoff with a loss.
But I think they're still, win, lose, or draw. These are still 2 of the top 4 teams in the country. And I'm glad I'm not a part of that committee that's going to be the one that potentially, veto one of those guys out of this college football playoff because of a win. Because of a loss.
Cardale Jones today with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Bills Von Miller did not suffer a torn ACL in his right knee Thursday. Miller expected to miss at least a couple of weeks, still could miss the rest of the season with that injury. Bears quarterback Justin Fields questionable for Sunday's game against the Jets. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson dealing with a hip injury. He's expected to play Sunday against Jacksonville.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we're glad to be back today. A lot of football today. And, of course, LSU heads to College Station. They'll be wheels up here shortly. Actually, they may be wheels up right now toward College Station. It'll be the Tigers and the Aggies Saturday night from Kyle Field. 6 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. Let's go there now. Our buddy David Nuno from TexAgs.com, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. David, we appreciate it. Belated Happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate you.
It's our pleasure. One of the big stories, obviously, this week, I know Jimbo addressed it earlier this week, is a question of motivation, David. How motivated will this A&M team be coming into this game after, let's call it what it is, just a really disappointing season?
It's an interesting question because, the season's done. There's nothing you can beat LSU and it'll still be a failure, colossal failure of the season, the worst season we've seen here in a very long time. But the sense I get, at least the veterans and that I've talked to as we do some interviews there at TexAgs, is that they're all in. They're all in trying to beat LSU, a game that they thought that they won last year for multiple reasons, but they ended up losing with Max Johnson, coincidentally, obviously a part of Texas A&M right now. So I think you're going to see a pretty good effort. Jimbo's teams routinely have played opponents that are supposed to destroy them well. He's got a bunch of top 10 wins, not saying that I'm predicting a victory, but I will say that his teams, when it looks like they're going to get destroyed by top teams, for some reason make it a game until the very end.
Let's talk a little bit about this Aggie team. And we all know the storylines of the struggles offensively and the fact that they haven't scored 30 yet against a Power 5 opponent this season. What has been if you could put your finger on it, that conversationally there every day, the biggest issue for this team offensively?
1,000% the offensive line. Look, the offense needs to be more creative. There's no doubt about that. Jimbo's running a 1984 system. It needs to evolve with the times. But I don't think that we'd be complaining as much if the quarterbacks who have been there now, and this goes now 2 seasons. Haynes King on a couple different occasions, Zach Calzada, Max Johnson, and Connor Wegman, who's looked very good in the limited time he's played with a little time. If he could have more time, the plays are there to be made. This is a team that could have won, 4 games this year on the last possession of the game, maybe 5, So they're in these games, but they have to start scoring points, and that's not going to happen, obviously, this year. The offensive line has been atrocious. You've had guys in and out of the lineup. You had their center go out. The right side of the line was supposed to be the strongest part of it. They've been consistent late. Layden Robinson and Ruben Fadri. They've been bad. There's a new offensive line coach this year who is Steve Adazzi, who I think has struggled getting these guys to buy in. So it really starts 1,000% with the offensive line, because if you look at A-Chain's numbers, pretty good this year, Devon A-Chain. Could be so much better if he actually had some holes to run through.
That's a good question. A-Chain, Evan Stewart, a couple of guys who've been injured. Are we expecting that they will play against LSU?
Yeah, Billy Lucci reported that this week, that first off, Jimbo Fisher felt that they were practicing, felt good, and Billy feels that those 2 guys will be out there.
Okay.
And when you think about their offense too, Devon A-Chain, Evan Stewart, Moose Muhammad, who missed some time, and obviously Aniyah Smith, who was their catalyst, went down early in the year. That's a big part of their offense recently.
Yeah, look, obviously losing Aniyah Smith was huge for what he's been as a playmaker. We heard so much, obviously, about the freshman class. Connor Weigman's part of that. Evaluate, David, his performance in the opportunities he's gotten here late in the season, if you would.
Yeah, I think he's looked pretty good. Look, it's that offensive line has been pretty bad, but in the game against Ole Miss, in limited time in South Carolina, in a bunch of these games outside of UMass, I thought he's looked good. He plays off schedule. He can run. He shows his legs. He just hasn't had a lot of time to throw the ball. But we feel that he could be a difference maker in College Station. And you don't need to have Bryce Young to win in College Station. You need good enough, as Kellen Mond was. And this guy certainly has the upside to be even better than Kellen Mond was.
So who are the guys offensively that LSU fans will be on the lookout for in the game tomorrow? We mentioned A-Chain. Who else?
Yeah, Moose Muhammad is certainly one of the guys that you need to watch out for. He came on strong after Aniyah Smith went down, had a couple 100-yard games, big acrobatic catches, and Evan Stewart's the freshman. Wide receiver is a position that it's not like offensive line that takes a year and a half to get really good, but the really good ones sometimes take a little bit going in their freshman year, and he has made some acrobatic catches this year, has a great ability to put his body in position over some bigger guys. I would watch out definitely for Evan Stewart, a guy that I think Connor likes to go to, and he'll just have him back for the first time in a couple of weeks.
David Nuno with us, TexAgs.com, talking about the Aggies. Let's flip it over and talk about that defense, man. It's just a polar opposite result when you look at the secondary and then the rush defense. Why has the rush defense struggled? How has the secondary been so good?
Well, the secondary hasn't had to take a lot of fire, to be honest with you, because teams can run on it. That's the big part of it. Part of it, I struggle with the scheme that DJ Durkin likes to run. I mean, he a lot of times he runs a 3-man front with all the defensive line talent that he has. I think another part of it was McKinley Jackson, the nose. He had missed a big part of the year, and he's definitely their best defensive player. He missed a big chunk of the year. Even when he's been out there, though, teams have been able to run on them. I think the scheme has been bad, and linebacker play has been atrocious. Harold Perkins, who was obviously starring for the LSU and having that kind of year, the guy that was committed to Texas A&M, burned that hat on signing day and decided to stick it and go to LSU, he's been a phenomenal player. He would start like on any program, but he would be the guy. They don't really have linebacker play, and that has been a hard part of their defensive struggles this year. But I will say this about the defense. As bad as they've been against giving up the run, they actually keep most teams below their season total of points. I don't want to call it a bend-don't-break defense, but it seems like teams will run on them, but they don't always score on them, and that's been something we've seen throughout the year.
I would assume that would be LSU's plan as well, to run the ball, but LSU's got great receivers, and we have seen Jaden Daniels put the ball in the air the second half of the season, trust those receivers. How does that matchup look with A&M's secondary against the LSU receivers if LSU starts airing it out?
If they're as healthy as we think they are, and Antonio Johnson is back, and some of the younger players are out there, it'll be interesting to see, because I don't think LSU has to pass the ball very much. If Jaden Daniels, and every running quarterback has run successfully against A&M. Jackson Dart looked like he was freaking Randall Cunningham against them, the way he broke down the pocket and was able to get some yardage. KJ Jefferson had success. They've all had success on him. So if Jaden Daniels wants to run, he's going to be able to run, and that's going to open everything up. Against quarterbacks like Florida, Anthony Richardson, and we saw also against Auburn, they don't have to throw the ball on A&M, but those guys haven't had the wide receivers that LSU has. I think it plays nicely for LSU. Look, as I said at the top of this, I wouldn't be surprised if A&M makes this a game and it's a close fourth quarter. I also wouldn't be surprised if LSU runs away with it because of their ability to run the ball, and also when Jaden Daniels is on point, throw the ball.
What about special teams, David? That's been at times a circus for LSU this year. How are the Aggies?
I would say mixed reviews. Like the punter, who's supposed to be amazing, has had his struggles this year. They've given up some points of special teams. They scored some points special teams wise as well. You'll remember the Arkansas game. They blocked they blocked the field goal that was against Mississippi State, and Mississippi State was able to score. It's been all over the place with A&M special teams wise, and that's a factor. When a team is bad, they find ways to lose, and A&M has been bad, and they have found ways to lose on offense, on defense, and on special teams.
Yeah. And it's certainly been a long year. What's the atmosphere going to be like at Kyle Field? Are you expecting it to be full throat, or I mean, look, obviously I don't think it'll be what it was in a rainy second half against UMass last week, clearly. But what's the expectation for what the environment will be like?
I wouldn't be surprised with about 90,000, and I know that sounds ridiculous with the kind of year that A&M has had, and also last week's pictures of the way Cal Field was half empty. But Alabama struggled having people in the stadium as well last week. Like, the weather was a huge factor. Taking on UMass that nobody cares about is a huge factor, and that team was in the middle of a 6-game losing streak. I think LSU is a game that people get up for, family, relatives. It is a rivalry game, not the biggest rivalry between those two programs, obviously, but it's a big one. And it's been one of those that the home team has been able to win quite often in it. So at least in recent history with Jimbo involved. So I do think it'll be packed. I think it'll be a good crowd. The students are out to pick up their tickets this week in full force. Nothing like we saw against UMass, which was very empty. So I expect a big crowd.
David Nuno from TexAgs.com. Appreciate it, man. Belated happy Thanksgiving again. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Thanks as always.
Thank you, brother. I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you. He's right. I think what he said there, which is so spot on, is look, bad teams find a way to lose, and A&M has done that this year. I mean, the South Carolina game, if you look at the yardstick, A&M was better than South Carolina. But they allowed a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. They had a turnover, which yielded 7 points, and then boom, 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 they're down 17-0 and couldn't climb their way out of that hole. And they lost on the road to South Carolina, a game they probably should have won. They were a better team, but you make those mistakes early, and that's how you end up in a game like that. So, but he's right. But when you're 4-7, you are what your record says, and they are a bad football team. And I don't know if they get it right in this one game against LSU. So, but I do agree with him on that. Like, it's easy, and listen, I'm not defending A&M, but it's easy to kick a team when they're down, and all the images at Kyle Field and everything last week were striking. But LSU in the fourth quarter against UAB wasn't much different, y'all. It's freezing cold. It's late. It's a terrible opponent. It's not an interesting game. So I do get it. That's a lot of places, but that's more of a symptom of college football playing awful games on the penultimate weekend of the regular season. So yeah, I would believe it'll look a little different tomorrow night at Kyle Field. But LSU gets up, puts this game away and out of reach early. Do they file out? It becomes less of a thing. Maybe so. And I would hope so, actually. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll knock out a quick break, come back, and I do want to talk a little Saints. We haven't done really much of that today. It's hard to enjoy about a team that's been as bad as New Orleans has. But more so about the future. There was a mock draft from DraftWire that published yesterday on Thanksgiving. It's a 2-round mock draft, so they do have the Saints' projected pick in round 2, and I think you're going to find this interesting. We'll get to that next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com, 1hourbr.com. Remember, nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out, and they'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, or weekends. So for a lot of people, Black Friday is a holiday, not at River City's 1 Hour Air. They're working. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, you have issues with your home central heater or your AC, call River City's 1 Hour Air. They'll always come out, and they'll never charge you extra. 752-0001. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the preseason heater safety check. Could not recommend that highly enough. That standard maintenance not only makes your unit run efficiently and safely, but also it'll extend the life of your unit. Think about like an oil change for your vehicle. You want to extend the life, of course, you have to do standard maintenance. You have to do it on your home central heater and AC as well. River City's 1 Hour Air can help you out. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Black Friday has got to be just a great day for a degenerate gambler. I mean, what a day. I was listening to Odd earlier today, right? Which I always recommend you do. By the way, if you're into sports betting, especially on Fridays and then on Sundays, Jimmy has a collection of professional handicappers that give their best bets for the week. And so he calls it the Cappers Recap, the Handicappers Recap, Cappers Recap. So on Friday, they do the Cappers Recap for the college games. And then on Sunday, Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday, in the 11 a.m. Central Time hour, they give all the picks for the NFL week. And the NFL picks for the year, like 32 games over 500. It's insane. And so I'm listening to the Cappers recap earlier today, just looking at the games to play. And so we hit with Tulane, loss with Baylor, which was a tough beat. Baylor plus 10 was a tough beat. Texas scored late to cover. But one of the plays was Boise State. And Boise was laying 16.5. And Utah State was going in to score with like a minute left. Boise got a pick, and on the next play scored a 95-yard touchdown to cover. You know what? The gambling gods taketh away, and in this instance, they giveth. All right, look, it was a rough beat with Baylor, but they sort of cancel each other out, getting the Boise State. But how about the Otter yesterday? His only miss.
You have a good day?
His only miss was Ole Miss. Otter had the Lions plus 9.5.
Yep.
That's a ding. He gave you the Giants plus 10. Little backdoor cover right there. Thank you very much.
Bruh.
And one of the strongest plays of the day from a lot of the Cappers was the Vikings laying the 2.5, which of course they did cover. So the Otter hit on those three and then lost the Ole Miss game. So 3 in one day for the Otter, not bad on Thanksgiving.
That's a pretty good Thanksgiving. It goes well with turkey. That's for sure.
Man.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering, there was split opinions on the Florida State game tonight. Are you playing that?
I have Florida plus 10.
I did as well.
I have Florida plus 10.
I think they're. I think it's an overreaction.
I do too.
The line's an overreaction of the Vanderbilt loss.
And not only that, Florida State's on this win streak, but they've beaten nobody on the win streak, like Syracuse. And, I mean, it's just they've beaten absolutely nobody on the win streak.
Yes. I'll give you this one, too. There was another one on the Cappers recap. And, again, do with this what you will. You could choose to play along or not. I don't care. But if you want to have something of interest to keep an eye on throughout these games, one of the handicappers gave out the under. It's the New Mexico-Colorado State game. Which, well, never mind. That started
7-0 in the start of the third quarter, so that looks pretty good.
The total.
What is the total in that game?
Would you like to take a guess? In a game that at halftime was 7-0.
Yeah. 38?
36. When you were taking the under and the total's 36, you better believe those are two anemic offenses. Right. But yeah, so that one's looking good so far. We'll see. I'm telling you, man, I don't know a thing about New Mexico and Colorado State. Couldn't tell you, couldn't help you, don't care, right? I guess New Mexico did play here this year with Eddie Nunez coming in. But anyway, but these guys, that's how they make their living. They're professional sports bettors. They're just giving you their best picks. It's great. So anyway, if you're interested, you get rich, kids. And of course, we encourage you to use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. They still have the DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, as we head toward the holidays. If you're new, if you're thinking, hey, this could be a great time to jump aboard, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. New customers bet just $5. Bet just $5 on any NFL moneyline bet. If you hit, they'll give you $150 in free bets. So great way to sort of build your nut to start playing with for the rest of the year. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Same-game parlays are available. Stepped-up same-game parlays. Boost up to 100%. More legs you add, the more money you can win. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. One boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-7-0-STOP. I want to talk about this mock draft, but can I also just for a quick moment mention, look, I love the U.S. I want them to win I want us to win everything we ever do in anything. I don't love soccer, as many of you may know, but I'm still pulling for the U.S. in the World Cup. I've not watched a minute of World Cup action yet. I think it's awful that they're having this thing in the middle of the winter months or in the the fall. You're competing with football, which is going to take eyeballs away, and it's terrible. And for all the corrupt reasons they're having this thing in the Middle East. But the U.S. has played two games, has not won. So we're 0-2, correct? We have 2 ties. So we're 0-2. Are you following this at all to where you can explain what that means for us if we need to?
They need to beat Iran. If they beat Iran, they're in.
They move on. Yep. Okay. So you got to win. I know there's another thing, too, where, like, how many goals you score.
Goal differential.
Does that matter in this, or just win?
Win and you're in.
Okay.
Win and you're in.
Win and you're in. The other thing that just pisses me off to no end is the lack of subject-verb agreement when people are talking about soccer. I was telling Moose this earlier, and I get it. I'm a grammar nerd and all that stuff. But the country is singular, okay? The players, the team members of the player would be plural. So, for example, in soccer, they say, England are attacking. No. England is attacking. It's called subject-verb agreement. You learn this like in the 3rd grade, okay? Why is this hard? I wouldn't say LSU are beating Texas A&M.
Right.
LSU is beating Texas A&M. And what drives me nuts is like all the international commentators do that. And when Americans have sort of adopted that, it drives me bat bleep crazy. Like, I cannot handle that. Like, I would love an explanation from someone on how and why that started. Because in no other reality on the face of planet Earth is there such a gross disregard for subject-verb agreement when it comes to teams. Like, if Chris Blair were calling LSU games and started saying, LSU are winning by 15, there would be a mutiny. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, but you don't. You say LSU is winning by 15. The Tigers, plural, are winning by 15. Why do the basic grammar principles of subject-verb agreement, why do they not exist in soccer? Do you have any explanation?
No,
have you ever heard
I don't.
anything about this?
I do not have an explanation for that, no.
If someone has it, let me know. Like I saw someone earlier tweeted like, Italy are back. Italy are back! Like,
Forza.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why you would say that. You wouldn't say that.
Italy is back. Anyway, maybe I can't be the only one on an island by myself thinking this is crazy. But the worst part is when Americans adopt it. Like, stop doing that. If they want to do that, that's their thing. Like, that's fine. I'm not saying our way is the best way in the world, but there is a proper way to speak. And that is grammatically incorrect and stupid. So stop doing it, please. That's why I can't. Like, if I'm ever going to watch, 2 reasons I can't watch. You got the British guy faking his for US. Go USA! Shut up, man. Let me get it. Right? I get what you got. I mean, you're getting paid. I get it, but you don't have to go overboard. We get it. All right, you're getting a big paycheck. I got it. It's an American network, but you're a British dude and you don't care about the U.S. That's one. 2 is the subject-verb agreement thing. I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. Just watch it on mute. Take a good nap. All right. Yeah, I have time to do this now. So, obviously, one of the big questions around the New Orleans Saints right now is the future and not having a first-round draft pick. Perhaps they will get a first-round draft pick if Sean Payton coaches again, and the Saints could recoup assets. That would be wonderful if they're able to do that. If not, you deal the hand, or you play with the hand you're dealt right now, and that is that the Saints' first pick in this coming spring's draft is going to be the 43rd pick overall. It'll be their second-round pick, number 43 overall, which, let me rephrase, that's where it will be slotted based on record projections of where they're projected to finish right now. So it could be higher. If Saints lose out, it could be higher. Draft Wire, which is part of the USA Today network, did a full 2-round mock draft, which they published on Thanksgiving. They had Bryce Young going number 1 overall, to Houston. C.J. Stroud going 2 to Carolina. Of note, how about this? This really surprised me. Anthony Richardson, 6 overall to Detroit. I completely understand the infatuation with the talent, like with the skill set. Big dude, strong arm, super athletic, the backflips on the field. I get it, dude. We saw it. He ran for a 75-yard touchdown against LSU where he made grown dudes look like children. I mean, I get the infatuation with the talent. But Anthony Richardson has been bad this year. Like, he has been a bad football player at Florida. So anyway, that would stun me. But we're all thinking in terms of Saints draft, we're all thinking quarterback. Like, they've got to take a quarterback somewhere. And you hope that it's the Jalen Hurts scenario. If you take a quarterback in the second round, you hit on the guy that just slipped a bit. I mean, I'll remind you, Lamar Jackson was the last pick of round 1. He won an MVP. So you can – Russell Wilson was a 3rd-round pick. Kirk Cousins was a 4th-round pick. You can find starting quarterbacks in outside of round 1 in the draft. It happens. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. So you can find those guys. So the Saints, if they're sitting there somewhere around 43 or wherever it is in round 2, will probably be looking quarterback. It'll certainly be high on the list, but listen to where these quarterbacks are taken. So Bryce Young 1, C.J. Stroud 2, Anthony Richardson 6, Michael Penix from Washington, lefty, who leads the nation in passing. They have him going 14 to Indianapolis, so top half of round 1. If you're wondering, by the way, they got Apu Ika going 21, so first-round pick. That one still sings, letting that guy get away. Kayshawn they have going with the last pick of round 1 to the Texans at 32 overall. And they got B.J. Ojulari going 63 overall, the last pick of round 2 to the Philadelphia Eagles. So that would sting. I don't think Ojulari falls to the back of round 2. I think he will be a top 40 pick. If he's not a round 1 guy, he will be within the first 10 picks, I believe, of round 2. But there are 2 quarterbacks' names that I haven't mentioned yet that they have coming off the board in round 2. And one of them is Hendon Hooker, and the other is Will Levis. Will Levis, in some circles, is considered a top 10 pick. They've got Will Levis going 48 to the Washington Commanders, which means at 43 overall, they got the Saints taking Hendon Hooker. And I think you certainly have to be leery of the knee injury. But most draft projections have had Hooker somewhere in round 2 anyway. So this is essentially saying the knee injury isn't going to hurt him in the draft. And I think a big part of that, obviously, is how players have been able to come back from these types of injuries. I mean, Joe Burrow came back from a devastating knee injury in 9 months. So, I don't think the knee injury is going to limit Hendon Hooker in this draft. And if he is on the board for the Saints to take in round 2, I think there would be a unanimous celebration of that selection among Saints fans, watchers, people who love the organization, if that option is there. But the other thing that's interesting is that Will Levis they have on the board as well. So this may be a year where everyone can sort of draw the line and say, okay, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, 1-2, 1-2, 2-1, 1-2, however you want to do it with those 2 guys, clearly the best. But if the next guys available are Richardson and Michael Penix, and you're talking about Hooker and Levis, I mean, there may be really good value for the Saints in this draft at quarterback, where even though you don't have your first-round pick, which might be flirting somewhere in the top 10, I mean, if I posed it to you, of these quarterbacks, Richardson, Penix, Hooker, Levis, which would you take? I don't know that there's anybody listening to me right now that would take Anthony Richardson first among that group. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the talent, the infatuation with the talent would win out, maybe. But, boy, that feels like such a reach when some of these other guys would be on the list. So it was interesting to see an early perspective. We're a long way to go from the draft. The draft order isn't even set yet. But the Saints are very likely going to be looking quarterback in this draft. And if this is any indication, there's going to be value for the Saints there wherever they're picking early in round 2. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com. Get that whole home generator from Schutz Electric. They'll come by, install that Generac whole home generator for you like they did for me. After Ida last year, Eric and I decided enough. We lost power for 9 days after Ida, and we're like, never again. So we called Schutz. They came by, installed our home standby generator. When the power goes out, generator comes on, powers the home as if nothing ever happened. And Schutz offers 24/7, 365 customer service because obviously power outages are not a 9 to 5 thing. Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com. They have inventory. One of the big issues that a lot of people have with home standby generators is you order it, and it takes 6 months to get there. Not at Schutz. They have inventory in warehoused, ready to roll. So you could call them today, and they could start that process. Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com for Schutz Electric. Okay, it's After Further Review. Quick break. We'll come back. Jimbo Fisher and Brian Kelly previewing Saturday's game between the Tigers and the Aggies. We'll let you hear from the 2 head coaches, the latest on some key players who might be in or out. A lot to do with Mike Triplett in 45 minutes, so glad you're hanging out with us here on AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
During the season of Thanksgiving, Corvell Toyota wants to take the time to thank you for your business. We could not be in business for over 50 years without you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you from Corvell Toyota in Opelousas.
Thank you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Missouri's taking the lead on Arkansas. 2-point conversion failed. So Missouri up 26-21 with 10 minutes to play in the third quarter there in the Battle Line game. Beautiful Battle Line trophy. What's better, the Battle Line trophy or the boot? What do you like better?
I'm going to be honest. I don't even know what the Battle Line trophy looks like, Matt. Let me Google that real quick. Yeah, I'm serious. I don't.
Goodness.
Like, I could not tell you right now what that looks like just off the top of my head.
It's going to be much lighter than the boot because it's hollow. It's basically just an outline. Here it is. It's an outline of the states.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
Well, it is terrible.
The boot's better than that, actually. No, that's like that is the great value boot. Like, that's what that is. That's atrocious.
It's hollowed out. They basically did the same thing. Big, giant base, large structure, but it's just the outline of the states with nothing in. It's just hollowed. It's a hollowed outline of the states. Yeah, it's tough.
That's bad. I mean, that's come on, that's bad. The boot's not good. Let me make that clear. It's hideous, but that's just, it looks like you didn't even try.
I just don't need trophies. I don't need trophy games. Rivalries are great, and I'm fine with it. I just just don't need, some of the greatest rivalries don't have, does Army-Navy doesn't have a trophy, does it? I mean, there's the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
That's what I was going to say, but that's not for
all,
that game. It's the whole Service Academy thing, yeah.
Like Texas A&M.
Iron Bowl doesn't have a trophy.
Iron Bowl, you don't need it. You know what I mean? You don't need it. If it's good, it stands on its own merit. That's always been my thing with LSU's rivalry. You don't have to fabricate something. Let something happen organically. What's happening with LSU and Texas A&M organically is really good. I mean, LSU has owned the series, but LSU fans care deeply about that game. I think 2017, the 7 overtime thing went a long way to do that, right? I mean, you needed that moment to make you emotionally invest, because until that point, A&M hadn't beaten LSU since LSU, and the way that they did it was so jarring, and then LSU's answer the next year was so emphatic that 50-7, and LSU could have hung 100 on them if they wanted to. So it's made people care, right? I mean, it's the organic nature of the LSU A&M thing has been really good. I would say this, would you agree that LSU fans care more about the A&M game than they do the Arkansas game?
Yes.
And there's 25 years of history of Arkansas being in the SEC of playing that game, and it's never because it's never mattered enough. The results on the field or what Arkansas could be. I mean, aside from the 07 game, and LSU ultimately ended up winning the national championship anyway.
Yeah.
So it's, don't need trophies. But anyway, what two things that I want to get to here very quickly. There is some breaking news we're going to get to here in a second about one of the major openings. Well, actually, it's the Nebraska Open. I was going to tell you what's going on in the football game right now. If you have not seen, Nebraska is leading Iowa 17-0 at half. That game is in Iowa City, by the way. The reason that is relevant is Iowa controls its own destiny in the Big Ten West. If Iowa beats Nebraska today, they clinch the Big Ten West and go play the winner of Ohio State, Michigan next week. But if Iowa loses, then Purdue controls its own destiny. And Purdue plays Indiana this week. And Purdue's about a 10-point favorite in the ballgame, but that is in Bloomington. So you have some screwy scenarios potentially unfolding here in the Big Ten if Nebraska is able to hold on and beat Iowa. They're up, again, 17-0 at half. And I don't even know if Iowa can score 17 points. I mean, that may be an insurmountable lead for Iowa in this ballgame. So we're going to keep our eye on that. And as we mentioned, Arkansas, Missouri. Arkansas turned it over. Mizzou's got the ball, and they were going into the end zone. A 25-ish yard run right up the gut. There is a flag on the play, but Missouri's up 26-21. Touchdown, if it stands, would put them up 32-21. We'll wait and see what the call is here. But interception thrown by KJ Jefferson. It's a holding, so it's coming back. But not to give you a live play-by-play of the game. But Missouri looking to distance themselves against Arkansas here tonight. Okay, let's get to that breaking news if we could. Chris Lowe was the first to have it. Others are reporting it as well. Apparently, Matt Rule and Nebraska are nearing a deal for Rule to become the next head coach there in Lincoln. From Chris Lowe, Nebraska zeroed in on former Carolina Panthers coach Matt Rule to be the next head coach. The two sides hope to finalize the deal in the coming days, sources tell ESPN. Again, Chris Lowe had it first. Others have since followed up with the same report. It looks like Nebraska and Matt Rule are close to getting a deal done to make that happen. And that, by the way, is why you fire your coach mid-season. Not that I'm advocating being fire the coach guy or whatever, but what it allows you and your administration is the cover to go actively pursue your next coach. So you don't have to have a current coach wondering or reports leaking that you're looking for a coach while you have a coach. So it's why you do it. I'm looking at Auburn too and saying, look, they fired Brian Harsin for the same reason. Can they get a deal done with whoever is their number one guy? And if it's Lane Kiffin, can they get that deal done? Specifically with Matt Rule to Nebraska, I think that would be amazing. it is undeniable that Matt Rule has taken two of the worst jobs in college football, Temple and Baylor, and made them. He won conference championships there. And you can say, well, Baylor, Art Briles had them rolling. And Art Briles did have Baylor rolling, but you forget Art Briles left them in, it was a dumpster fire because of the manner in which he left, the sanctions that Matt Rule inherited. I mean, massively impressive what Matt Rule has done. And if you're able to win at Temple and at Baylor, and they give you the resources of Nebraska, he'll win there. He will absolutely win at Nebraska. That's the guy, quite honestly, that I said from the beginning Auburn should have hired. And why they didn't, I don't know. Why they didn't pursue him is beyond me. But some guys are just, look, his NFL failure, I don't care. Nick Saban was a failure in the NFL. Lots of great, Lou Holtz, Jimmy Johnson. Well, no, Jimmy Johnson was great in both. But lots of great, Dennis Erickson, great coaches in college were failures in the NFL. That's not anything new. So I don't care that he failed at Carolina. He can win. Urban Meyer, he can win in college, and he will. He'll win at Nebraska. All right, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Y'all, we are headed toward the holiday season. If you're looking to buy a gift for that hard-to-shop-for person, or maybe even for yourself, how about giving the gift of sight? Give the gift of LASIK from the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. I would highly recommend, though, you get this done. You make this phone call today even to schedule that consultation, because you've got to schedule the consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson, got to go for that consult, and then afterwards, if you decide to proceed, you want to make sure if you want this done before the end of the year that you have it done, and you can get into surgery in the next 4 weeks. So call 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Muse is going to have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 here in just a bit. We are going to do our college football pick'em in hour 3. Mike Triplett will be here with us 30 minutes from right now. We'll preview Saints and Niners. We still got to do what to watch for this weekend in football. Give you some picks on LSU-Texas A&M, Saints-Niners. So a ton to do as we continue moving through the rest of the day show. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Big shout out to all those watching on WBTR, our new television partner in our second week now. So thanks so much. We do now, if you continue to remind you, we do now have a cable and over-the-air option for you to watch in Baton Rouge on WBTR Channel 19. That's a Rev Channel 144. And if you're a cord cutter, it's a 36.1 with an antenna. So we appreciate WBTR. And, of course, all of you watching on YouTube, we appreciate you as well. Do us a favor, smash that like button and subscribe up to the channel. It's where all of our live content lives. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. You still have Tigers and the Pros. Don't you move.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Pluckers is open today. It's Black Friday, and a lot of you are hitting the mall. So the Pluckers right in front of the Mall of Louisiana on Bluebonnet is a great place to stop. I tell you every year, gentlemen, hand your wife the credit card, let her go shop. You go park it at Pluckers. Watch, just binge on all of these amazing college football games. And, of course, you can eat delicious award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Or maybe you're sitting at the house right now and you don't want to leave. A little cold, a little damp, a little wet, a little rainy. General malaise after yesterday's Turkey Day. Get your wings to go. Get them delivered. Pull up Uber Eats or DoorDash. Order your Pluckers wings. Boom. They'll deliver them right to your door. And you don't even have to leave the house. That's at Pluckers. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Sky, I've got that sunshine.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Rivalry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at RivalryTeam.com. Rivalry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I have a general problem with coaches hating points. Lane Kiffin last night passing on a field goal after a Mississippi State turnover around the 10-yard line, went for it on fourth down, didn't get it. That you could argue that cost you the game. In Missouri just a bit ago went for two in a situation where they were up 6. And forgive me, they were up 5. And so they went for 2 to try to go up 7. They didn't get it. And they just kicked a field goal on their next possession, so now they're up 8. So it's still a one-possession game. Had you kicked the PAT, you'd be up 9. I understand there's a chart, right? Like everyone has the chart when you go for 2, when you don't. But sometimes you've got to consider game flow and things like that. And it's just an odd thing that's transpired. And maybe it's just the advent of Moneyball and baseball and analytics that's bled into football as well. But, man, and maybe it is the right decision to play the percentages and those things. But more often than not, I just say get points. You got to ultimately you have to score points to win. Anyway, we'll watch this. So Missouri's up 8 on Arkansas right now, 29-21 with about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And we'll keep an eye on Nebraska and Iowa as well. If you're just joining us, you haven't heard. Nebraska up 17-0 on Iowa at half. The second half is now underway, and Nebraska has the ball at the Iowa 14-yard line. I mean, there is some poo-poo stirring there in the Big Ten right now. All right, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
A great day of NFL action yesterday, and former Tigers were everywhere. So let's just take the games in order. The Bills beat the Lions. DJ Chark for Detroit, just 2 catches on the day for 16 yards, but did score a touchdown in the game, and it was a big touchdown that ultimately tied the game at one point there for Detroit. Giants, Cowboys, that was the next game up. Damone Clark with his best game so far of the season. 7 tackles in the game. That had him second on the team for Dallas. 6 of those tackles were solo. On the other side, Cordell Flott for the Giants totaled 5 tackles in the game. Did leave the game and entered concussion protocol. And the nightcap, the Minnesota Vikings and the New England Patriots. Justin Jefferson, your leading receiver, yet again for the Vikings. 9 receptions off 11 targets, a $139 and a touchdown. His long was 37 yards. Defensively for Minnesota, Danielle Hunter, 2 tackles. One of them was a sack. Patrick Peterson, 2 tackles in the game as well.
Jefferson broke Randy Moss's record last night for the most receiving yards by a player in his first 3 seasons. And he's still got 5 games to go?
Yes. I feel like
he's ridiculous.
I feel like he's just broken about every single one of Randy Moss's records at this point.
Is Randy Moss and OBJ had the most receiving yards for the first 3 years of a career, and Jefferson broke that record last night.
And he was what, like the 5th receiver taken in that draft, something somewhere along those lines.
The one that has obviously garnered the most attention always has been Jalen Reagor.
Yes.
Can you imagine if Jefferson was on this Eagles team?
Oh man. Look, that offense would need a lot of help to begin with. Yeah.
Incredible.
Jalen Mills, 4 tackles in the game for New England, 3 of those solo, 1 for a loss, and did defend a pass. And then Devon Gottschall had a tackle for a loss and 4 total tackles in the game as well. That's Tigers and Pros.
All right, presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Check them out online or go shop at Lee Michaels. Gentlemen, we are creeping up upon the holidays. If you're thinking about popping the question, nobody has a better selection of engagement rings, beautiful diamonds at the best price possible than Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com, where you will always get the Lee Michaels experience. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Give her the gift in that red box this Christmas season. Okay, we'll do our college football pick'em when we come back right after the top of the hour. Don't you move.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Again, that's theantiagingclinics.com. Hormone replacement therapy, we tell you about all the time. You can look and feel like your younger self at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. So schedule that blood draw. Go have that consultation and see if you're a candidate. If you wake up in the morning, you struggle to sleep at night, you don't feel rested when you wake up, you're lethargic throughout the day, you find it tough to burn fat or build muscle, those are all symptoms potentially of hormone loss. And hormone replacement therapy could be the answer for you like it's been for me. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Again, that's TheAntiAgingClinics.com. for the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community. We are
the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. U.S. men's soccer team finishing in a draw for the second time in Group B play. U.S. and England playing to a scoreless draw. U.S. now plays Iran on Tuesday. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson dealing with a hip injury. He did practice for a second straight day today. Jackson is expected to play Sunday on the road against Jacksonville. Bills' Von Miller did not suffer a torn ACL during Thursday's win over the Detroit Lions. Sources telling ESPN's Adam Schefter that Miller could miss a couple of weeks. There is still a possibility he could be out for the rest of the season. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler on the Bills' thinking with Miller out.
They really believe that, their defensive roster, despite missing a piece or two here or there, can always get it done. That without Tre'Davious White at cornerback for most of the year, they've still been pretty solid on the back end too. So, they believe they built a winner, that can sustain itself without one player.
Jeremy Fowler on Greeny earlier on ESPN Radio. College football on ESPN TV, third quarter. North Carolina State on the road in Chapel Hill, leading number 17 North Carolina, 17-10.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock. I doubt it's quitting time for many of you because most of you probably have the day off. But thanks for being here with us on a Football Friday edition of AFR. Kind of combining our Thursday, Friday shows. Hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving. Enjoyed time with family, friends, great food, and all that good stuff. Lots of football as well. We've been moving through the show today. If you missed it, I would highly, 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 highly recommend you go back and check out the open of today's show. Go to the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and just start the show from the beginning today. We sent our buddy Hunt Palmer on a reconnaissance mission. He infiltrated yell practice at Texas A&M, and we regret to inform you that Hunt came back having been indoctrinated. Can you please play this audio here, Muse? Hunt came back indoctrinated. And happened. Go to the Watch 145 ESPN YouTube channel and just start. So Hunt was swaying. He was singing the Aggie War Hymn. He had some old rock, the good ag stories to tell today. He got a whoop in there. Here you go. You gotta be watching this right now if you're not watching. That's right. What do we think of? Thank you. What do we think of Hunt's technique on the whoop?
The whoop's good, but I'll tell you what, the spirit finger hands, is that what they're called? That's, I mean, that's 10 out of 10. Like, he nailed it.
You got to go back and watch it if you missed it. Thank you. All right, that's good. All right, it's after further review. Just go back and watch the beginning of the show. Normally, Terrio's here. I'm not going to hold it against him for not being here today. I think this is fair, right? It's a holiday. I'm not mad at him for not being here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Because, I mean, if we had the option, we wouldn't be here either, probably, yeah.
Sure, I don't know. I don't mind working on this day. There's a ton of football going on. It's a fun show. Unbutton the collar a little bit. It's a lot of good stuff on Black Friday. So I'd probably be here. Yeah, who am I kidding? I wouldn't work. You told me not to work.
I was about to say,
no, for
stop
sure.
that
That's
because
fair.
you would not be here.
Fair enough. Okay, hit me with the music. Let's pick. The three of us will pick the biggest games in college football. Normally we do 7 games. Let's just run through all of them on Rivalry Week. We will chart this. I will not hold it against Terrio. However, and since today's games are mostly already in action, the only one remaining is Florida State. We'll skip today's action, just start with tomorrow. First one is Georgia Tech. Georgia's a 35.5-point favorite. I'm assuming we're all unanimous on this that Georgia will win.
Yeah, Georgia.
Paulie?
Georgia.
Okay, UGA all across the board. The big one in the Big Ten, Michigan at Ohio State. The Buckeyes are an 8-point home favorite, looking for a little payback after last year's whooping at the hands of the Wolverines, where Michigan ran for 300 yards in that game last year. Who do you like?
Yeah, the revenge factor is huge there, and that one for Ohio State. Potentially no Blake Corum for Michigan. I like the Buckeyes, and I kind of like them big in that game as well at home.
Paulie?
I'm going to Ohio State as well.
I love Michigan and the points in this game. Love Michigan and the points in this game. As a matter of fact, on the Otters Handicappers Recap, that was a consensus. There were maybe 4 different cappers that all had Michigan and the points in this game. And I would not be surprised at all if Michigan wins that football game. We have crapped on Michigan because they played a crappy schedule. They deserve it. That is their lot because they scheduled, and they could have played UCLA this year.
And backed out.
They had UCLA on the schedule, backed out. That may be the thing that keeps them out if they lose, because they won't have much of a leg to stand on to be that one-loss team to get in. But I'm not going to be surprised at all if Michigan goes to Ohio State tomorrow and wins that football game outright. I think we are overhyping Ohio State, which has at times uncharacteristically and inexplicably struggled offensively, and I like that Michigan defense. I'm going to pick Ohio State because they're home, but I love Michigan and the points in that game. South Carolina, Clemson. Did the Gamecocks find a little magic last week?
I actually like the letdown spot for them. I think Clemson wins. I'm not the 14.5, but I do like Clemson in the game. At home, too.
Paulie.
They found the magic last week, but not this week. I'm going Clemson.
All right, Clemson as well. I disagree with you. I think Clemson blows out South Carolina in this game. I probably won't play this game, but if I would lay the points. Just what you said, massive letdown spot for South Carolina. Now you have to go on the road to Clemson, who, by the way, is still playing for its playoff life.
Yes.
So a lot on the line for Clemson. I like Clemson big in that game, and I just don't think. I mean, I have a 2-year sample of Spencer Rattler being bad and a 1-game sample of him being awesome. So I'll take the 2-year sample of him being bad. All right. Let's. This isn't necessarily. Well, I'll get back to the Big Ten in a minute. Louisville is at Kentucky. Kentucky's a 3-point home favorite.
Yeah, they're an unranked team favorite over a ranked team. Give me Kentucky and give me -3 too.
Until you pointed that out, I was really, really heavily thinking Louisville was going to win this game. But you're absolutely right. I'm going to blind bet Kentucky. Unranked team favorite over ranked team. Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely. Paul, who you like?
This one's tough.
It is tough. And I was going to pick Louisville until Muso just said that because I hadn't realized. Unranked team favorite over a ranked team. Blind bet it every time.
I'll still ride with Louisville.
All right, Paulie is bucking the trend. Iron Bowl, does Auburn give Alabama a run?
First half, well, let me take that back. First quarter, yes. Rest of the game, absolutely not.
Okay. We had no disagreement on any of these. Yeah, I think we're all going Bama in this. If that game was at Jordan-Hare, I'd be more inclined to lean to give Auburn a chance. But Paul, you agree, Bama?
Yeah,
yep.
Bama.
Okay. Civil War, Oregon State. Oregon's a 3-point road favorite, another team playing, so with a lot to play for. A win by Oregon gets them into the Pac-12 championship game next week.
And I think that's really the motivation there. Oregon State's had a really nice season. Coletta's a nice weapon for them out of the backfield or really wherever they want to line him up. But I'll take Bo Nix. He's been pretty awesome this year, man.
Paulie?
I agree. I'm going to Oregon here.
All right, we're all going Oregon. I feel like we're sleeping on Oregon State in a spot where the home dog is live. And I'm not going to be surprised if we come back and that's the one that screwed up the whole pooch this weekend, is Oregon State beating Oregon. But we'll get to that again. But I'll take Oregon as well. Illinois plays Northwestern. Nobody cares. Wisconsin and Minnesota is interesting because there's a bajillion-way tie in the Big Ten West. But Purdue, if the line holds right now with Nebraska beating Iowa, then Purdue controls its destiny tomorrow against Indiana, which would eliminate Minnesota, who's 4-4 in the Big Ten, who lost last week to Iowa, so they're out anyway.
Yeah.
Wisconsin 3-point home favorite. Rough season for the Badgers.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Leonard, they could get bowl eligible. I think that's some motivation there. I'll actually take Wisconsin at home.
Wisconsin is bowl eligible. They're 6-5.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then here's the other caveat: is Tanner Morgan going to play for Minnesota? I mean, that's so. I'll go with the home team.
Okay, Wisconsin, Paulie.
I'll go Minnesota.
Okay. Paul's rowing the boat. I agree with you, Muse. I'll take Wisconsin at home, and I'll lay the points in that game as well. So this is the big one in the Big Ten tomorrow then, if the Iowa score holds. Purdue at Indiana. Purdue's a 10.5-point favorite on the road against Indiana. 7-4 against 4-7, but all of a sudden Purdue's got something pretty major to play for, it seems.
They do, and I mean, look, they've kind of found their offense a little bit down the stretch as well. I like Purdue in that one on the road.
Paulie.
I like Purdue.
Indiana plus 10.5. Purdue wins. I've already played this game, by the way. I will lay the 10.5. Or I'm sorry, I will take Indiana and the 10.5 in that game, but I do like Purdue to win. We've had no disagreement on any of these. Does Iowa State challenge TCU? Somebody's going to lose. One of these teams we're talking about is going to lose.
Absolutely. I'd love it to be TCU. They've been so good against the spread up until last week. I mean, 9.5 feels like a lot. Iowa State's got a really good defense. Their offense is just terrible, though. So that's kind of the hesitation there. I think TCU wins the game.
Okay.
Yeah, TCU.
TCU. Okay. Man, I'm trying to see if there's anything else interesting. We'll get to LSU. Yes, a couple more here that we have to get to. Notre Dame, Southern Cal. Does Notre Dame go on the road and pull the upset?
Notre Dame's going to pull the upset. They're going to be able to run the football. And when that team can run the football, they win the game. And USC can't stop anybody. Now, look, Caleb Williams is awesome, but I think Notre Dame runs the ball, controls the clock, and wins.
Ollie.
I hope you're right, but I think USC pulls this one out.
I've already made a play on Notre Dame plus the 4.5, and I would not be surprised at all if they win. I actually will pick Notre Dame to win the game outright for purposes here. But for betting purposes, I took the 4.5.
Same.
In that one. Tennessee, Vanderbilt. This is another one.
Woo!
That I'm telling you, man. Vandy's 5-6, brother.
I want it to happen so bad.
Vandy gets bowl eligible with a win at home over Tennessee tomorrow.
I want it to happen so bad.
Hendon Hooker-less Tennessee, whose season last week got completely derailed.
It's a big potential flat spot for Tennessee, but they're just the more talented team. And I think they win. I think it's close, but I think Tennessee wins.
I'm the same. I think
Screw you guys. Screw you guys. Give me Vanderbilt. Write it down. Give me Vanderbilt.
Go.
Give me Vanderbilt to win this game and get bowl eligible. Vanderbilt beats Tennessee in Nashville tomorrow.
I hope it happens.
I've already played the game. I got 14.5.
Okay. Yeah.
So I played the game with Vandy in 14.5. But yes, give me Vanderbilt to win the game outright. I think massive flat spot for Tennessee. They're done. I don't know how you get up off the mat, especially with no Hendon Hooker. This is the other big one. There's two more big ones. Kansas State. Kansas State needs to win to get into the Big 12 championship game.
You got Jalen Daniels back for Kansas. Now, he doesn't look the same. He did not look good. So that leads me to Kansas. I think Kansas State's a 12-point favorite in the game. Is that right?
It's at 11 right now.
It's at 11 right now? Okay. I like Kansas State at home.
Paulie.
Kansas State.
Yeah, we're all in agreement there. And Apple Cup, Washington against Washington State. Really fine season for Washington. And remember, if Oregon gets clipped and Washington wins, they'd be 7-2 in the Pac-12, and that's.
I think that would get them in.
I have all the scenarios right here. Wait, go ahead. Let me look this up.
Washington State has been really sneaky, man. They've been sneaky good. Washington's been bad on the road. They did go get the win at Oregon. I feel like this is going to be a coin flip game, but I'm going to take Washington State actually to upset Washington in the Apple Cup.
Washington clinches with a win and a loss by Oregon and Utah, or losses by Oregon, Utah, and UCLA. So the getting Utah to lose to Colorado is a damn near impossibility. But anyway,
I'm taking Wazoo.
I'm taking Washington to win the game. Washington, and I think they win and cover and win easily in that ball game. All right, and then LSU. Do you want what's that? Oh, Paul,
Washington.
Washington. Okay. We were really late because we got to get to Mike Triplett. Do you want to give an LSU A&M pick? Paul?
LSU, big.
LSU. Big win and cover?
Win and cover.
I think so, too. All right, Mike Triplett of New Orleans.football joins us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's. Oh, man, the whiskey-loving community was treated today. Rouse's had gift baskets at their locations today with a lot of their allocated whiskeys. They had some Van Winkles in there, Sazerac 18. I mean, some really, really nice stuff. It's Rouse's, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. I love at the homepage of the website, they have a leftovers guide. So if you're looking for maybe things to do with your leftovers, it's great recipes. It's all right there at the Rouse's website. Of course, download the Rouse's app. And your personal shopper can go pick out your items for you. Maybe you're staying at home today, or you don't want to get out in the rain, the weather, whatever it is. Download the Rouse's app, select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick it out. You pull up into the spot, they'll bring it out to your car. They have delivery options as well. So go to the website, and you'll see the delivery and pickup options right there on the home page. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Visit them at rouses.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Mike!
Yeah?
Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football, presented by Benny's Car Wash, family owned and operated since 1951.
You know what I did last Friday?
What's that?
I went to Benny's and I got me a membership.
Shout out.
$14.99 a month, unlimited car washes. Incredible. And you get the discount on gas. Mike Triplett's with us, New Orleans Football. How are you, dude?
Doing well. How you doing? Happy Thanksgiving.
Belated Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Mike, you would know this. Do you have to say belated Happy Thanksgiving, or is it still like the Thanksgiving season?
No, there's a window. There's a window. When you have a holiday on a Thursday, you could have the whole weekend.
Okay.
It gets a little weird on Sunday.
Okay. Well, because like Christmas, in the religious sense, the Christmas season extends beyond Christmas Day. Through the new year. So you can literally still say Merry Christmas because you're in the Christmas season. I didn't know about Thanksgiving. I haven't really thought of that very much ever. So I always say belated Happy Thanksgiving when it's after Thanksgiving. But
I think that's okay, too.
Okay.
I think it's such a joyous occasion that you can get away with anything.
You know what? I love a joyous occasion. I don't think, however, the Saints going to San Francisco is going to be a joyous occasion. That's why I sit in this chair, friend. Thank you very much. Because of awful radio guy transitions like that. Let's start with some good news, though, Mike. And it looks like for the first time in a long time, the Saints are actually getting healthier. Which is most significant here?
Which injury recovery?
Yeah, like when you look at looks like you're getting a lot of guys back.
I don't know that Marshawn Lattimore will be ready to play yet this week. I think this is a really good sign, though, that he'll be back in time for Mike Evans, and I can only imagine that he could have been on the operating table and he would have jumped off it to play against Mike Evans. So I'm sure he wants to be back for that one. And I think he's the most important or most costly injury of the season has been Marshawn Lattimore, just because of the significant drop-off of the domino effect of the people who have been on the field, especially when you consider the other injuries at corner. So I would list him as the most important player. But what is very significant is if you get Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport back at defensive end, and if you get James Hurst and Andrus Peat back on the offensive line, I mean, that's when the team flatlined. When they had all those injuries on the lines, especially against Pittsburgh, the amount of players that were missing by the end of that game, they're not competitive if they don't have healthy lines. So that's important to make them competitive, and it makes a big difference.
One of the ways, obviously, that New Orleans countered last week is we saw much more Taysom Hill. That was the wrinkle. Should we expect that to continue, that level of involvement by Taysom?
Yes and no. I think they've described Taysom Hill all year long as sort of like you normally describe a run game. And when you have false starts and penalties early and you're in 3rd and 12 and you're in, 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 9 or whatever it is, or if you're down by 2 scores in the second half, when you would normally say, so we had to abandon the run game. Well, a lot of times this season that has been you have to abandon Taysom Hill. So he has really thrived when the game scripts have been great. When they were leading Seattle and they stuck with it. When they were leading Cincinnati and they stuck with it. When they were leading the Rams and they stuck with it. And I think that's going to be way, way harder to do at San Francisco, #1 run defense in the NFL, and at Tampa Bay, who's been one of the better run defenses in the league for several years. So they're going to have to be stubborn if they want to stick with it. Now, I do think they will try harder than ever because they realize how important he is to the team and what an advantage he is. But I think half of it is going into a game plan, wanting to use more Taysom Hill, and half of it is having the game script allow you to stick with it.
I want to stay on the quarterback theme because obviously you had an exclusive with Jameis 2 weeks ago that published that garnered a lot of attention. Since then, now Jameis has spoken out and I think turned a lot of heads when he talked about the policy of not losing your job due to injury. I'm curious, Mike, your thoughts on what Jameis had to say, number one, and number two, is there a scenario where we see him again this year?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that was the thing that opened my eyes most about my interview with him 2 weeks ago. I think people made a little too much out of I don't think him and the Saints were on two different pages about how healthy he was. I think that part maybe got a little blown out of proportion. I think all sides knew he was not 100% healthy, but he was healthy enough to be active for games and not on the injury report. So there was a little semantics divide there. But it was very clear that he is not happy with the team, that he felt like when he was healthy enough to play, he'd get his job back, and they did not give him his job back. He made that even more clear last week, that Dennis Allen specifically told him he wouldn't lose his job due to injury, and he lost his job to injury. So he's disappointed about that, but and I think there's a little back and forth on both sides. So probably some fences that need to be mended if he's going to be on this team next year. If there's any chance he's going to play this year, they're going to have conversations, I think, to get back on the same page. I do, however, think the Saints probably have to see him. I think if he does not play again this year, I don't imagine a scenario that he's back on the team next year. I don't think either side would want that if he doesn't play again this year. I think that would mean the Saints have probably given up on him, and he's probably given up on the Saints. Now, I suppose if they remain in playoff contention the entire rest of the year, or mathematically alive for the playoffs, start winning some games, then obviously I think they'll stick with Dalton. But if they're out of it, if they can't beat Tampa Bay next week, and Tampa Bay has a 3-game lead and they come back from the bye with 4 games to go, I think there's definitely a scenario where they have to look at him. It's going to be as close to healthy as he's been all season. They have to see if a healthy Jameis Winston can work in this offense, and if he's a consideration for next year. I think they need to find that out.
I could not agree more. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Conversations typically Thursday, brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, Benny'sCarWash.com. You can learn about their memberships there. Told you last Friday I went and joined $14.99 per month. Unlimited car wash, $14.99 a month. Great deal. The offense against the Niners, you mentioned the Niners' run defense, which obviously is among, if not the best, in the NFL. What can the Saints offensively potentially do well against this team?
I mean,
that was so not encouraging at all.
it's not going to be matchup based. It's not going to be matchup based. But look, I mean, the Saints are as close to healthy as they've been all year. It stinks to not have Eric McCoy. It stinks that Michael Thomas never came back. But other than that, I mean, you're looking at a receiving core that has Chris Olave as a legit number 1, Jarvis Landry is a legit number 2, and then everyone else is sort of where they the Callaways and Traquan Smiths and Rashid Shaheeds of the world are as they should be, 3rd and 4th options. And the tight end options are as healthy as they've ever been. And Jawan Johnson is coming on strong, and Adam Troutman's healthy. Now you're getting 4 of your 5 offensive linemen back for this game, and Alvin Kamara is healthy, and as we mentioned, Taysom Hill, a big part of the run game. So, I mean, statistics-wise, the Saints have one of the better, the yards they've gained this season. The yards they're averaging per rush. I mean, they're not an offense that can do nothing, but there is no matchup that stands out where you have an obvious advantage against San Francisco. I mean, it's a really smart defense. It's a well-coached defense, and it's a physical one. Now, they're not going to have one of their best interior linemen in Armstead. So I don't think you can just gash them with the run. You're going to have to kind of stubbornly stick with it, and you got to play a clean game. I mean, you got to try to have 3rd and 5s and not 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 12s all day. And it's got to be sort of the patient game plan they've tried a lot this season that hasn't always worked, but they just need to keep a close competitive game. It would sure be nice if they won the turnover ratio for like only the 2nd or 3rd time all season. That could help. But I think for the Saints to win, I don't see a lot of huge matchup advantages for them. I think they just need to play the cleaner game of the two and keep it close and hope for, kind of like a hard-fought victory where they're able to stick with their run game and able to be two-dimensional because they don't get behind by double digits.
Mike, so much of our conversations now, because realistically we understand at 4-7, they're not going to the playoffs. So it's a lot about looking at what could be there for the future. And I thought of this. You mentioned Rashid Shaheed, and then we've also gotten to see Caden Ellis play exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Have we learned anything, in your opinion, about guys this year that have a real role with this team in the future?
Well, that is interesting at linebacker in particular. I don't know if and when Pete Werner is supposed to be back. I think he's a guy who could come back in that final month of the season. And then you've got a really interesting choice to make, depending on where you are in the standings. Do you keep wanting to look at Caden Ellis, who is an unsigned free agent next year, and you have to decide if you're going to reinvest in him? And there could come a point where they have to decide if they definitely want to stick with Demario Davis, if they are like poring over every dollar and trying to decide how much of a reset they want. So that's interesting. I mean, Alontae Taylor's another guy. Now that they're healthy, that's a big conversation we've had watching practice this week. Okay, when you have Marshawn Lattimore and Bradley Roby back, how does it all fit together? And I think if they are in contention, which they still will be at least until they play Tampa Bay, then Taylor might be the one who goes to the bench. It might be Lattimore and Adebo on the outside and Roby on the inside, because that's a new position for Taylor that he's going to have to learn, playing slot, if they ever want to move him inside of the slot. But that's a different conversation if you're mathematically eliminated for the playoffs and you have 3 or 4 games left and you want to see him in there. So I don't think the Saints. I think the Saints will be all in to win at least until the bye. Because even if they lose this week, if they beat Tampa Bay, they keep that window open. So that, if they lose to Tampa Bay, certainly if they lose these next 2 games, then they come back for the bye and they might have to think about making personnel decisions based on the future. But they're not there yet.
Weird. Just so weird, man. What a weird year based on what any of our expectations were. Mike Triplett's with us, NewOrleans.football on Twitter at Mike Triplett.
That is their best hope for beating San Francisco, is just that it's 2022.
Yes.
And in the NFL, if you're like a double-digit underdog, then you win half the time.
Hey, man, how are we feeling right now about the Hawkeyes?
I didn't think we were talking about that. Nobody told me we were talking about that today.
Well, I didn't have to prep you for it. I'm just curious. Like, this is a very Iowa Kirk Ferentz type thing, right?
Not really, actually. The one thing that they always do is collect a lot of cheap wins against 3-8 teams, and they beat Nebraska 7 years in a row. This is kind of a strange. The Kirk Ferentz. I'm not really up on Kirk Ferentz or down on Kirk Ferentz or fire him or you got to replace him, but he definitely pads his stats, and when everybody wanted to call for his head, he almost finished 8-4 and ended up in the Big Ten championship game. But I'll tell you what, at least our embarrassment is taking place right now on Friday after Thanksgiving in front of a mild audience. I don't know what it would have looked like if they'd have won this game and been playing Ohio State next week.
Yeah, on the Big Ten Network, which nobody has, so nobody's actually seeing this. We're just trusting them that that's actually the score right now, that Nebraska's beating Iowa 24-7. Iowa, for those that don't know, would have clinched a spot in the Big Ten championship game had they beaten Nebraska, but with 12 minutes to go, they're down 24-7.
Had they beaten 3-8 Nebraska, that has already decided to fire its coach and hire Matt Rule, according to all the reports. Yeah.
That team, that's the one. So my condolences, Mike, such is the lot of life of an Iowa fan. Have a great Thanksgiving.
I appreciate that. I did have a great Thanksgiving. You have a great belated Thanksgiving as well.
I appreciate it much. Thank you, Mike. We'll talk next week.
Have a good one, man.
All right. That's Mike Triplett. On Twitter at Mike Triplett. Our combos with Mike every week are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, bennyscarwash.com. Really cool. I did go last week, joined up on the membership club, bennyscarwash.com. $14.99 for the month, gets you unlimited car wash. And actually, I wish I'd thought about this too, but they'll even do... There's an unlimited with detailing as well. They clean the inside. Maybe it's like $38. I need to check it exactly what the different memberships are. But anyway, for as low as $14.99 a month, you get unlimited car washes at Benny's. Benny'sCarWash.com. And with the membership, you save 40 cents per gallon of gas at the Be Quick locations as well. So do it. Benny'sCarWash.com. Okay, we'll knock out a break. We'll go over what to watch for me, Paulie, and Muse, what we're looking at this this football weekend. And we'll get some picks on LSU A&M and Saints-9ers before we get out of here. Glad to have you aboard on this Black Friday. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darin, James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
Happy Thanksgiving from all of our friends at Darin, James & Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Chatted with my guy DJ yesterday via text on Thanksgiving, and very thankful for him and the blessing that he's been in my life for so many years, not only as an advertiser, but more so as a friend. An amazing man that I'm proud to endorse here every single day and encourage all of you to call if you're buying or selling a home. There's just nobody better. It's a guy that's as genuine as you'd ever want to meet, as hardworking as anyone you'll ever meet, and who gets results. There's a reason he's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. That's the top 1% of realtors in America based on the number of homes sold. The proof is in the numbers, and Darin's got that, and he'll always treat you awesome. It's Darin James. Buying or selling commercial or residential, 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Nobody wants to win this Missouri-Arkansas game. Nobody wants the Battle Line Trophy.
You know what? I can't blame him. I can't blame him. That thing's terrible.
Missouri missed a field goal. Arkansas had great field position, couldn't move. They punt. They down Missouri at the 14. Missouri just got a false start penalty. There's 2 minutes left. They just can't run out the clock. Like, you got to get a first down and run out the clock, and you can't even do it. So anyway, we'll let you know if that game does, in fact, go final. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Love telling you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service, and name-brand tires at wholesale prices. We're going to get to what to watch in just a second, but remember, it's holidays. If you're traveling this holiday season, make sure those tires look good, man. If they're threadbare, the tread's worn off those tires, make sure you go to Shawbills. They'll sell you name-brand tires at wholesale prices. You can go to the website, ShawBillsTire.com, hit the promotions tab at the top, and you'll see all the great offers that they have. Always encourage you, use that Shawbills credit card. They'll always give you great deals with that as well, incentives. It's at Shawbills. But most importantly, they treat you like family. And they have for more than 50 years. And that's what's kept them open and growing for more than a half a century. It's Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, hit it, Muse. What are we watching here?
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
I love how pithy that is. Muse, you have the honors.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll go with TCU and Iowa State. We kind of touched on it a little bit in the pick segment, but obviously TCU, they're already heading to Arlington, but looking to complete a 12-0 season, and if you're LSU, you'd like them to lose to Iowa State. Number 1 defense in the Big 12, Iowa State.
I would like that.
We'll see how that one goes, man.
Wally.
Another game Tiger fans are watching closely, Notre Dame and USC. Obviously, if both USC and LSU win, the question is, could USC jump LSU in next week's ranking?
Yes.
Obviously, LSU fans want USC to lose, and also for Brian Kelly's former team to give him some help.
That would be poetic. The Big Ten West is not settled, and this is obviously relevant because whoever wins the West is going to go play the Michigan-Ohio State winner in the Big Ten championship game, which has major playoff implications. Iowa had the clearest path. All they had to do was beat 3-8 Nebraska today, and they could not do that. They currently trail by 17 late in the fourth quarter, which means Purdue will clinch the Big Ten West if they win at Indiana tomorrow. Purdue is a 10.5-point favorite in that game. If Purdue loses that game, then Illinois would win the West if they beat Northwestern, provided they need losses to Iowa and Purdue. Iowa is losing, so if Purdue falls at Indiana, then Illinois would clinch the West.
Sunday Night Football. The 9-1 Philadelphia Eagles welcoming the Green Bay Packers. Better than a touchdown favorite, the Eagles are. It's just always interesting, though, man. It's still Aaron Rodgers. His receivers, yeah, they are kind of what they are, but when they step up, he can still sling it. Also, the broken thumb, something to keep an eye on there for Rodgers. But I don't think you can just scribble a W next to the Packers if you're the Eagles.
I agree.
I'm watching the Iron Bowl between Auburn and Alabama. We all expect Bama to win, but I kind of just want to see if Auburn can continue to ride the wave from interim coach Cadillac Williams. They're fighting for bowl eligibility. They're 5-6 right now. And can the Lane Kiffin rumors be a distraction? Auburn's got nothing to lose, so just give Bama their best shot.
Does anything leak? Like 2016, the LSU-Texas A&M game, the Tom Herman stuff leaked during the game. Like, does that start to happen tomorrow? If it looks like they're zeroing in on a coach, we'll find out. All right, in the Big 12, Kansas State has the clearest path. If Kansas State beats Kansas, they go to the Big 12 championship game. They needed that or a Texas loss. Well, Texas beat Baylor today, so it's this easy. If Kansas beats Kansas State, they go to the Big 12 championship game. If Kansas State loses to the Jayhawks, Texas would clinch a shot at the Big 12 a spot in the Big 12 championship game. So the Longhorns still alive if Kansas State falls tomorrow.
So I was also looking at the Big Ten, but kind of as a whole. Of course, you got Michigan and Ohio State. The winner of that is likely to win the Big Ten championship in general. They'll go and probably beat whoever from the Big Ten West. But there's one more scenario in the West, Matt.
Illinois.
If Illinois loses and Purdue loses, Iowa gets back in. So there's a chaos theory for Iowa as well, even though they are down 24-7 to a hapless Nebraska team.
All Iowa had to do was beat 3-8 Nebraska.
Who's
at
fired
home.
a coach.
They're at home.
Yes. Yeah, I know it's ugly. It's ugly. But me personally, I kind of want Iowa to go. I want the chaos. Give me Illinois, Louisiana, and Purdue. That'd just be hilarious.
I'm thinking who has a better shot of upsetting either Michigan or Ohio State.
Do that.
Iowa's defense could cause problems for teams.
But they can't
for sure.
score.
But you're always a scoop and score, a pick six away from crazy things happening. And we've seen it. Remember, dude, Northwestern, was it last year or 2 years ago when Northwestern gave that great Ohio State team
I know.
a hell of a scare 2 years ago?
I saw Iowa play Michigan, and it was, look, the defense was great, but they couldn't score. I mean, I don't know.
Games seldom look the same when you play them a second time. LSU fans know that all too well.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
One NFL game I'm watching is Bengals-Titans. Bengals currently second in the AFC North behind the Ravens. Titans currently leading the AFC South. They should win that division. Joe Mixon's already been ruled out with a concussion. Jamar Chase is currently listed as questionable. We'll see if the Bengals can keep pace in the AFC North.
You know, I do want to check myself because I said LSU fans know that all too well about playing a team a second time, and we automatically go to the 2011 season.
Well, naturally.
2001, LSU lost at Tennessee, beat him in the SEC championship game. 2003, LSU beat Georgia in Baton Rouge 17-10, and then blew them out in Atlanta. So it's worked for LSU as well in those situations at times. In the Pac-12, pretty straightforward. Oregon clinches with a win at Oregon State or with a Washington loss in the Apple Cup. Utah can still get in if they beat Colorado, and then Oregon, Washington State, and Cal all lose. Washington is in with a win in the Apple Cup and losses by Oregon and Utah, or losses by Oregon and UCLA, but Utah would have to win. So to keep it really simple, Oregon wins the Civil War, they're in. If they don't, Muse, you love chaos. If Oregon loses, that's your chaos theory in the Pac-12 tomorrow. Oh, my God.
Now I'm really rooting for Oregon State. That would be epic.
Oh, man.
Well, only if Notre Dame beats USC. Because we want USC to lose here, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. All right, that's what we're watching this football weekend. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, they do it all at GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. As we move toward the new year, maybe you want to be in a new home for the new year, start that process today. Before you start home shopping, you got to know how much home you can afford to buy. So log on to GMFSmortgage.com, hit the loan officers tab at the top, find a local loan officer near you, no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, and they'll get you started down that path toward home ownership. GMFSmortgage.com, GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, Missouri ran the clock all the way down to about 20 seconds. They have punted. The ball did go into the end zone for a touchback. So Arkansas down 2, 29-27, 14 seconds to go, out of timeouts. They'll have the ball at their own 20. We'll see if old Sammy Pittman, KJ Jefferson, and the crew have any magic left in them. All right, we'll knock out a quick break and wrap up with the LSU-Texas A&M and Saints-Niners picks. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. We have now moved from Thanksgiving into the Christmas season, and the Baton Rouge General, always very festive. They have the holiday lights at the Baton Rouge General, which you can take the family and go stroll through the campus over there and see the dancing tree lights and all the festivities. It's at the Baton Rouge General Hospital on Bluebonnet, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org to learn more. Just go right to the homepage. You'll see the Learn More tab, and you can see all the info about times and dates and location and all that good stuff, how to get tickets, et cetera. It's all at the Baton Rouge, where to park. So go to brgeneral.org. If you're feeling festive, the Baton Rouge General Hospital Holiday Lights display is open right now across from the Mall of Louisiana. Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Of course, that allows your doctor here clinical collaboration with the experts at the Mayo Clinic at no extra charge to you. Expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvette Toyota and pick out your new Toyota today. That's Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Football Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. T-Bob and I will be at Don Juan tomorrow as soon as the clock hits 0 for LSU and Texas A&M. We'll be live for Whiskey and Wine. So if you come join us at Don Juan, please do. It's always a great time. If you can't join us at Don Juan, no sweat, man. Just pull up the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, where a lot of you are watching right now. We appreciate that. You can always tune in with us, hang out after the game as soon as it goes final with the Tigers and the Aggies. I'll quickly give you a Saints-Niners pick. Saints have gotten a lot of guys healthy, which is encouraging. I don't like the spot having to go across the country, play in Santa Clara against a really good defense, especially when the Saints offense is struggling. Saints are a 9.5-point underdog. I tend to also struggle to give up that many points in an NFL game. So I do think the Saints, if you're going to give me 9.5 or 10 points, I think you can keep it within the number, but you're probably looking at something along those lines, right? Like a 27-17 type game, something like that. But it's hard. It's just too hard for me to pick the Saints to go on the road as much as they've struggled and win away from home in a setting like that against that defense. So Niners, I think, win and continue the Saints spiral in their misery. And the Saints will be one more week from, I believe, being mathematically out of it after they play in Tampa. So I will pick the 49ers to beat the Saints. Tigers and Aggies from Kyle Field. There's been a lot of anxiety this week from LSU fans because of what I've heard is so much is, well, A&M's talent. They're a really talented team, right? That's what a lot of people say about Texas A&M. Well, they're a really talented football team. And so much of that is rooted in the fact that a year ago they signed the number one class ever. It what was 8 5-stars that they signed. And that's great. And some of those guys have made a big impact on this. Look, Evan Stewart was one of those guys. He's their best receiver. And he's been injured, missed a couple of games, but he's likely going to be back tomorrow. But when you're 4-7 and you're 1-6 in the league, It's because you're a bad football team. It's not because you had bad luck. You're a bad team. And Texas A&M is a bad football team. They have found different ways to lose games. And I know people have said, well, look how closely they played Alabama. Well, they did play Alabama closely, and they had a shot into the end zone to win the game on the final play. But what you leave out when you say that is, yeah, and Alabama also didn't have Bryce Young. They were playing Jalen Milroe, who fumbled 3 times in the game, which is why A&M was in the game. So that's really what this comes down to. A&M's run defense is atrocious. LSU's pretty good at running the football. A&M's secondary, their numbers are good. They lead the SEC in pass defense. That's because nobody's to throw on them because their run defense is so bad. But LSU's receivers are vastly better than Texas A&M's defensive backs. LSU should be able to move the ball, I don't want to say at will, but if they protect the football, LSU will put up 30 points in this game. And Texas A&M has not scored 30 on a Power 5 opponent all year. Hell, they scored 20 against UMass last week. They are a bad football team. They're poorly coached. They're undisciplined. They turn the ball over. They commit a lot of penalties. There isn't a single phase of the game where they are elite, and that's why they're 4-7 right now and 1-6 in the league. I have no anxiety about this. I feel as easy about this game as I did against Ole Miss. And remember when LSU was playing Ole Miss, and I was one of the few people willing to stand up and say, oh, LSU's going to blow them out. Like, it was... People looked at the 7-0 for Ole Miss, but that's something we talked about from the summer. It was a backloaded schedule. We didn't find anything out about that Ole Miss team. And LSU was a better team. And LSU's better than Texas A&M. And that's why the line's 10, and LSU's going to win. I think they're going to cover. I think LSU's going to win 30-14, and they're going to win with ease, and they're going to be 10-2 and go to Atlanta next week with a chance to play themselves into the college football playoff and win an SEC championship. So I think it's an easy day for the Tigers at Kyle Field tomorrow. And I think the Tigers win it big. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you all had an awesome, awesome holiday. Thanks for hanging out with us here today on this Black Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be back here Monday at 3, ready to talk. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, as we get on down the road, let me remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. 29 offices across 11 different states, 75 years in business. That's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, celebrating 75 years as a partner for weighing and measurement equipment and services since 1947. It's just incredible to say it. They started in New Orleans. Their corporate headquarters is in Harahan. And despite the fact that they've grown 6 different calibration labs across the state of Louisiana, 29 and all across 11 different states, they've maintained their local ownership. Locally owned and operated, they still value doing face-to-face business with a handshake and a smile. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They are an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. If you know what that means, you understand why it matters very much. And they are hiring as well. You can go to the careers tab at the website. You can hit the apply now button and see all the jobs that they have available right now at Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online, Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org.